All right. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome everybody to the show. Appreciate everybody checking in. We're still learning rookie mistakes here. But yeah, man. Big up to everybody who's come over for the show. Big up my guy Natster here who's with me. Just another day. Everybody is doing good so far. And yeah, man. Obviously everybody's keeping eyes. City's already smacking up Fulham, which I don't think everybody didn't think that was going to happen. That was bound to happen. But Nat, how you feeling, my guy? How you doing today?
Yeah, no, I'm chilling. Had a bit of time after work, got some tuna on the way back. Had some eggs because I had pasta the other day. And then I'll have some more like over the weekend or something. You know how we do. Fresh ingredients as much as possible on the healthy thing, minus obviously this and this. But I don't drink on a regular. I smoke on a regular. I don't drink on a regular. But it is what it is. I'd rather the smoking than the drinking. But yeah, other than that, I'm chilling. Got my I don't know what that little thing is, but yeah. Other than that, like
line up.
yeah. It wasn't cheap, man. It wasn't cheap, but it needed to be done. Do you know what I'm saying? It's going to get a bit warmer in the next month or two here in Inglaterra, London town, baby. Do you know what I'm saying? Chi-town, London town. Heck of a combination, and we're going to be bringing our combinations tonight.
Yep.
Or today, wherever you are watching in the world. So it is what it is.
Facts. Obviously we'll be doing our who you would pay to see 11 here in a bit, but I wanted to start with the Premier League news. Obviously, I don't think it's a shocker. I think I know I for sure said this on Aaron's channel. I don't know if you did as well, but I'm not shocked by the news that Thomas Frank got sacked. In my personal opinion, I think he should have never got the fucking job. I don't know what the hell Tottenham was thinking hiring this guy in the first place. I mean, granted, yeah, Brentford, he had Wissa and he had Mbeumo looking good, but besides that, the guy should have never got the job for Tottenham. Not especially when you look at what Tottenham is trying to do in order for their club. Just really quickly, what are your thoughts on the whole Thomas Frank sacking and how hilarious it is that this team could potentially, they're called part of the Big Six, but this team could potentially be going down this year. And what do you make of the links of Roberto De Zerbi to the team?
Well, first and foremost, the PR Emir League, bruv, in full effect. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I just wanted them to wait after the North London derby. But to be honest, they pulled the plug. It is what it is. I'm not shocked. No one's shocked. You're not shocked, of course. But you're the kind of guy like myself where there's not really much that shocks us in the world. Like the world is what it is, and especially in the footballing world, it's all one big mad stage. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one big game. It's just a case of whoever's got the rub of the green, so to speak, who's got the right, energy, vibes. Do you know what I'm saying? Fine margins, guys, of course. And it is what it is. I think Tottenham are in deep shit with or without Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank was a massive issue, but I don't remember him being that bad at Brentford. Yeah, it went stale, and yeah, he was going down, but it was Brentford.
Right.
But with Tottenham, yes, they've got injuries, but everyone's had injuries. We've had injuries, of course. Man City have had injuries. Liverpool, Chelsea, do you know what I'm saying? We've all had injuries. With Tottenham, they just don't have the bottle. When you sack a manager, that has won you a trophy, your first trophy in 17 years, not just that, a Europa League, the same Europa League that I was seething that we didn't win, by the way. And I would have been fine with sacking Unai Emery after that game, never mind at the end of that season.
Right.
And obviously the previous regime, they want to drag it along, kind of like the Spursy regime. And, masterstroke from our football club, Andrea Berta, giving them a fucking Vinay, the DFS sofa salesman. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and they can't stand him already. And it's only been pretty much half a year. Like Tottenham, like the whole De Zerbi thing, I don't think it will happen. Like, and definitely not now, not right now. Like, why would he leave Marseille when they're still in the Champions League? Yes, Tottenham are still in the Champions League, but they're not going to win it. But Marseille have more chance of winning it than Tottenham. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be real, right? People will say, "Oh yeah, but when Tottenham are bad, they win." Europa League and Champions League is night and day, bruv. You cannot be shit in your league and win the Champions League. There's a reason why it's never happened. It's happened many a time in the Europa League across multiple leagues. Not just our league. It's happened across. I'm sure it's happened in Serie A where they've been like mid-table or bottom half where they've won the Europa League or at least got to the final. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I'm sure it's happened. You know, across all the European leagues, but it's never happened in the champs. Like the worst you'll get is like, what is it, Chelsea when they won it the first time when they were sixth? That's literally the worst.
Yep.
Sixth place. You're not going to be 15th, 16th, 17th to win the champion. No chance. You think Bayern Munich are going to even remotely take that chance of being embarrassed by Tottenham? Even the likes of Marseille. You think of Jose Mourinho, bro, with Benfica is going to allow them lot, the Daniel Levy club, which is kind of not no more, ironically, but still, is he going to allow them to be beaten by Spurs? No. Especially at Estadio de Luis Stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Home or away, either way. Like, it's not going to happen, bro. And the thing is with Tottenham, yeah, they can still get relegated because their literal best bet is bringing Harry Redknapp out of retirement, bringing Tim Sherwood out of retirement. This is the best that they can do. There's only so many managers you can go through. Do you know what I'm saying? When you're not at that level, you had the opportunity to at least stick with Ange for a bit longer until it was that bad going into next season in the league. Then you can kind of reassess. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you were going to put all that money to someone who's never won a trophy, and they're expecting Poch to leave the States. But what? And it's not even like he's doing a great job there anyway. Why do they want him back? Like, this is the problem, yeah? When you had players like Harry Kane and Son and a few others, yeah, that Tottenham had, like Vertonghen, Alderweireld, etc., Hugo Lloris when he was a bit better, that core team, the spine, yeah, Christian Eriksen, etc., yeah? You know, it wasn't just the manager. The players had a lot to do with it as well. The quality, yeah. That's why Tottenham were challenging. When you don't have that, I don't care how great the manager is. You're only going to get to a certain point. Carlo Ancelotti overachieved with Everton, and he bought very, very well. He did a great job there. They were never meant to get that high. I think they beat us home and away when Don Carlo was there or something in one of the seasons.
I think across the time period, I think you might be right that he definitely got us there. But my whole thing with Tottenham is I just think it's absolutely completely Spursy. I think this club, I'll be very honest with you, and some people may think I'm crazy. I think ever since the signings of Ndombele and Lo Celso, this club has not known what the fuck they're doing. This is the only club that I've seen try to make Giovanni Lo Celso a number 8 when the guy played either a false 9, secondary striker, or a winger position. Never seen anybody try to switch somebody up like that. Ndombele, they tried moving to the number 8 position when he was a number 10 at Lyon. When Lyon, the last at Lyon was still good. Big up Dr. Seymour. But then after that, first of all, let's just be honest here. Tottenham was never challenging for the Premier League title. Let's just be real here. They had the center back pairing of Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who were both highly overrated center backs, always good for mistakes. They were a part of a falsified golden generation of Belgium, which anybody who calls it a golden generation, maybe in the offensive phase, but their defensive players were never reliable at any big clubs, which is why they were never going to win anything with that international team anyways. Let's just be real here. Vertonghen has been overrated for a long period of his time, and so was Alderweireld. That's why Diego Simeone laughed when they paid big money for him when he was a bench guy. So for me, I think it's just par for the course. I personally don't understand why Tottenham didn't go after a De Zerbi or a higher placed manager. And And let's just be real here. They haven't gotten it right since Pochettino's team started to crumble because they're doing the same thing over again. You brought Jose Mourinho into the team, which, okay, I get to a certain degree, but at the same time, no, because why would you bring in a more defensive, pragmatic-minded manager when none of your players fit that role? I mean, let's just be honest here. Jose getting Spurs to the top of the table at what, match day 18 or something like that with Spurs? There was no chance that team was going to win, number one. Number two, they weren't going to be able to play Jose's style of ball because they didn't have enough defensive guys or guys that could do both things in order for them to get that far. So at the end of the day, Spurs has just been running themselves into the ground for a long period of time. It's just been stretched out a little bit because of the different managerial bounces they get. Ange Postecoglou, granted, yes, he got them the European trophy, but at the same time, I never understood that appointment either. Like, no disrespect towards the Scottish League, but if you're a club that's at that ranking to where you have that much money in circulation, and granted, people can say what they want about Daniel Levy as far as being cheap to a certain degree, but how are you not going after better quality of a manager if you want this club to go further and further along, if that was your whole prerogative from the beginning? Clearly, it looks like more that the ownership at Tottenham is just talking about running a profit here, making massive amounts of money on their concerts, and aren't that serious about running the football club, if I'm being quite honest with you. Listen, I said it from the beginning. I didn't understand how Thomas Frank got the fucking job. I don't understand how Thomas Frank got the job at Spurs when you talk about a situation where, one, you could have went in for De Zerbi, who was available. He was talking to Chelsea of possibly leaving Marseille after getting them into the Champions League. You had a possibility. I know everybody laughs when I try to bring his name up, but the man is still a top quality manager, in my opinion. You had the opportunity of going to get Roberto De Zerbi, or not Roberto De Zerbi, I'm sorry, the other Roberto Mancini. I don't understand how, when you have this quality of managers around in the available, why you're not even entertaining that at any point in time. I think it's absolutely insanity that a team that's trying to aspire to be a quote unquote Big Six team is still thinking like a small club. And I mean, granted, yes, Spurs is a small club. Let's be real here. They are a small club. They just happened to generate a shit ton of money at the time that the Premier League as a whole is generating money. But this is not a well-run club. On top of it, the biggest mistake, in my opinion, was you hired a guy in Fabio Paratici to be this new sporting director at the time, when everybody forgets Paratici did fucking nothing except be a part of the overall problem at Juventus. Paratici, everybody forgets here, Paratici was the main guy cooking the books that got Juventus in trouble to where they got kicked out of Europe for a year. And had it not been it being Juventus, to where they're a publicly traded company in Italy, Juventus could have had a couple transfer bans and possibly even relegated. But that's an argument for a different day. Paratici did nothing to build that Juventus team up. If anything, him and Pavel Nedved are huge reasons why that club has gone down to where they have gone down to. So you got him. I just think overall it's an entire cabal that's going on at Spurs. And you know what? Good. I would love nothing more than Arsenal to win the league and have these idiots get sent down to the second division, because I just can't stand that club to begin with. But I just think it's very hypocritical for the Tottenham fans to think that because Ange got them there, Ange won, but we needed to get rid of him. I thought that was stupid. Maybe you have to give him a second year just because you won a third year just because you won a trophy. You have to at that point, especially with the history of that club. And if you're not going to go for a better manager than him. Go ahead.
Yeah, they also showed. Sorry, Ange also showed in that final, as shit as it was. A big up Shane Gooner each and every time. What a G, yeah. The thing is with Ange in that final, it was the worst final. Even the likes of X, Abby Summers, and other Tottenham fans were saying that shit, but they don't care. They won. Cool, I hear it. We be the same. We be the same. We stink our way, for argument's sake, to a Champions League. Yeah, we're not going to care how we did it. If we won, we won. It is what it is. Same with the Premier League. Same with the FA Cup. Same with the League Cup that we're in the final in, by the way. It's not so much about the style of play. It's about getting it over the line. When you have a manager that's got it over the line since one day Ramos, bro. when they were bottom, rock bottom. I remember them days. Jonathan Woodgate with a bullet header, great ball. I remember it. And it was pretty much a primetime Chelsea. They won the FA Cup and the League Cup the season before that. You know, like, and then they won the league like 2 seasons after that. They were no muggy team. You know what I'm saying? Big up AJ each and every single time as well. Back once again for the Renegade Master and all of that. Best believe that. Do you know what I'm saying? But like the thing with Ange is like he showed that he could adapt. He showed that he wasn't high line for life, mate. High line for life. Do you know what I'm saying? He showed in that final that Man United, as dog shit as they were, he was like, okay, all we need is one chance, and we take that chance, we can defend because they're not offering anything going forward. Because he doesn't rate Ruben Amorim job, bro. And what's happened to him? Oh, yeah, he's no longer at Man United. Says it all. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Tottenham would have gone up levels, but they would be a lot higher than where they are now, and they'd be playing better football, and they'd be better defensively. They would be able to cope better. Andrew would be like, okay, first season was poor in the league, but we got the trophy in it. But we can build upon that. And he would. He's that kind of guy because he has that mentality. But when you have a Thomas Frank who ain't won shit, you know, Brentford are no different to a Brighton, basically. They play good football. They've been in the league for a few years now, plus, yeah. But give it enough time, less quality. You know, Southampton have been at that point as well. Leicester, you see what's happening to them now. Like, there's only one way but down. And I'm amazed with that crook of a sporting director, that Tottenham had. I don't think he's there anymore.
No, he's not there. They got, I think it's Vunai now.
Vunai.
Yeah.
So you got Vinay and Vunai, bruv. You got Vinay and Vunai. You got the Chuckle brothers. You got Dumb and Dumber. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm amazed that Spurs haven't been deducted points at any point, or even get a transfer ban or something. Do you know what I mean? Because even Chelsea got the transfer ban, but they ended up doing pretty well. They got to the FA Cup final. But again, it's Frank, isn't it? It's Fat Frank. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll play good football, but he ain't going to win you shit. Do you know what I'm saying? He's struggling with a Coventry team that has been top for ages. He's doing an Arteta, bruv, in the Championship. So with Tottenham, it's just the same old, very Spursy, and it would be poetic justice, yeah? Poetic justice. If you know people. Like, they go down, we win the league by hook or by crook, kicking and screaming, Will Ferrell settings and all of that shit, yeah?
Yep.
I would love nothing more. I would love it. I would love it if we'd done that. If that would happen, I would love it. Kevin Keegan settings as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're here for it, but we got to get through Brentford tomorrow. City have already beaten Fulham. I know the game's still technically on, but come on. Fulham had a few chances, but they didn't take them, and that's what happens when you're away from home, innit? Like, you're 3-0 down before half-time away from home, it's pretty much done. Even in this league, you know. It is what it is, but we got to do what we got to do, innit? Like, no more excuses for Arteta. Don't bother trying to rush Marino back, because let's be honest, there's only one position he should be playing, and that's up front, coming off the bench in certain games. And even then, you know, Gyökeres is starting to perform. You know, you got Kai Havertz. I know he's been playing in the 10 or whatever. And then
Jay got hurt again.
Oh, he got hurt again.
Yeah, Quaja. So Quaja put it in the into the chat. Pick up Quaja every single time.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at it here right now to just look into it. They're already saying he's missing another month out with another injury, and that he won't be here for the North London derby. I mean,
you know what's going to happen. You know his love child. Do you know what I'm saying? Black Crow. What a legend.
My guy.
A fucking legend.
My fellow Midwest brother. Absolutely.
Oh, he's a Midwest as well. I knew he was American. I didn't know he was Midwest. Fair, man. Fair play. Fair. But big up either way, man. Big up. But yeah, man, it's man like Nick in the living guard, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? You know he's going to get a few 20, 30 minutes, bruv. You know he's going to get so.
And that's basically where I wanted to go to. Obviously, right now, I mean, we're seeing it live unless something happens. Villa's about to drop another game here to Brighton, and Brighton's been one of their bogey teams the last few years. So it's not too much of a surprise for me that they're dropping points to Brighton. However, Villa's pretty much already starting to show that they're falling away and are going to fall into a top 4 race as long as United keeps picking up the pace and stays on the pace that they're at right now with Carrick. To be honest with you, I really am not too worried about this Brentford game, if I'm being honest with you, because I'm at the point now with Arsenal that people can say that they're worried and whatnot. If we're going to be Premier League champions, these are the games you need to go and do the business in. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen as far as that. Yes, Brentford have only lost, I think it's only 2 games at home the whole season, and they've taken points off the other big teams. Cool, but like I said, if you're going to be the champion, you need to go and take care of business. Otherwise, you're just a pretender still.
Same thing with Leeds. Leeds had a great home record before we played them.
Exactly.
And we've had a good record against Brentford recently. So, yeah, I don't see why we can't do it.
But I think we're going to go ahead and take care of Brentford. I'm not too worried about this. With the Kai Havertz injury now playing into this, because people were already starting to get hyped up about the Havertz and Gyökeres link up and all this nonsense. I'll be honest with you, I don't understand. Eze needs to get a mandatory start now in this number 10 position, if I'm being quite honest with you. For me, going into this game, if you're going to go, they should be going at this, in my opinion, with Trossard on the left, Eze in the 10, and I'll be really honest with you, I would throw Gabriel Martinelli on the right-hand side just for shits and giggles this game, because Madueke, while yes, he has been able to dribble and everything else, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a guy be able to get a step where he's 10 steps ahead of somebody else and still kick the fucking ball out of bounds. So
I've got a question. Sorry to cut you off, Gianni. But
yeah, go ahead.
Ebery Eze starting in the 10, that's non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. Nowhere near up for debate, right? But on the bench, like Jesus is going to be on the bench either way. We know he ain't it. He's not a striker. What do you think about him coming on as a number 10 instead of Odegaard, instead of Odeklapt? Do you know what I'm saying? Because for me, as much as Jesus has been like, yeah, he got a good goal against Leeds and that, but he's not good enough to start, and he's definitely not good enough to start up front. We saw that against Sunderland. As a number 10 with Havertz being injured, Marino, I wouldn't have put him in the 10 anyway. You know, like,
and he's out for the season from what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got Bukayo Saka, I think, is still injured at the moment. Because if Bukayo Saka was fit, I would actually put him in the 10, like off the bench or something, as an example. But since he's injured, I don't see why if it's not Gabriel Jesus, then Trossard in the 10. And then put Gabby Jesus on the left. Yeah, do you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, put Gabby Jesus on the left. Ebery Eze to start. Trossard comes off the bench. And you can have Martinelli on right wing, because at least he's starting to lift his head up a little bit more. Big up views each and every single time. What's a fucking G, bruv? Back once again, right here, right now. And like, yeah, like you saw the goal that he provided for Gyökeres against Leeds, isn't it? Like, so we know he can do it. And it's a little bit like Saka, where he's better on the left. You know, even though I think Saka should really be in the middle because he don't have the legs for it. But he started out as a number 10 anyway. And we know he's got the tech to do it. You know, he's not the most technically gifted, but he's technically good enough to play that role instead of an Odegaard, ahead of an Odegaard. You know, Ebery Eze just needs more games. He hasn't played that much. Yeah, he can get a bit tired, but again, that's because he's doing all the fucking tracking back, because he don't do what Odegaard does. And what Odegaard does isn't even that good anyway. You know, he'll press, but then he'll stop at the last point. It's like you're running a race, right? And then you stop right before the finish line. It's like, what's the fucking point? You get over the line. You don't just run 100 meters. You're beating everyone, and then you stop, and then you walk over the line and just hope that all the other man behind you just don't like overtake you and all that. No. You got to get over the line. You got to do Usain Bolt. You got to do Johan Blake. You got to do Tyson Gay and all of that. Do you know what I'm saying? Was it Justin Gatlin and that? Like, you got to get over the line. You got to be a champion, bruv. You got to be elite. And Odeklapt, Nick and the Living God, has never been elite. And I don't want him back even with the injuries. Do you know what I'm saying? And Marino ain't even a number 10. He's not a pivot midfielder. like I said before, if Marino's coming back into this team, he's still on the bench for me, but he's an emergency striker. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we know he can do a job there. Outside of that, for me, I don't want him playing in midfield. We saw what he did against Man United, and we've seen him in previous games before.
Well, and that's the thing for me. This is what pisses me off even more about the fact that we loaned out Ethan, because this is where Ethan should still be fucking playing. Now, for me, I've said this before. I've said this on shout out Sammy from the Football Rig Show. I said to him, I would be willing to entertain a 4-4-2 diamond midfield to change up the formation. But to go with what you were saying with a 4-2-3-1, I would make it to where it's a more compact central 4-2-3-1 and it's rotating 10s. For me, I mean, hell, at this point, I'd even be willing to throw fucking Eze out on the right-hand side and put Trossard in the middle and just let him go and say whatever. For me, Gabriel Jesus should not be playing in the middle. He's better out on the wing. The guy's not that great of a finisher. I'd rather him be a dribbler and a creator to put the ball into the box for other guys who are actual finishers to be in more of the center position.
So you wouldn't even have him like as a number 10 coming off the bench?
No.
Which is what, okay, no. That's fair. Okay.
No. For me, I'd rather, to be honest with you, for this game tomorrow, I'd rather see Eze at the 10, Trossard on the left, Martinelli start on the right, and if you don't want Martinelli, you throw Eze on the right. Or not Eze on the right, you throw Jesus on the right. I don't want to fuck around with Jesus on in the middle anymore. He's shown he can't finish. For me, if you're gonna adjust it to play like that, the only other thing I would entertain is maybe throwing Eze back out on the left and put Trossard in the middle if you really want to complicate things as far as that. But for me, Eze gets a mandatory start in the 10 position tomorrow. I don't. With everything that's going on, there should be no more of this nonsense of Eze not getting any starting time for this team. And I think that's the best way to go forward. And you have to put your best team out there. You know, Madueke is not going to suddenly hit some form and go back to his PSV days and start scoring. And again, his PSV days, while everybody forgets, it was still only 11 goals in all competitions, and he played a lot of that season. So it's not like he was knocking doors down, scoring goals with PSV. Like we're clutching our straws here, talking about him in his PSV days, because he's not a finisher at all. You know, if Madueke came out and had 2 straight hat tricks, okay, then maybe we keep him starting at the right because he's already scoring goals, and you ride out the hot form. But other than that, he doesn't need to start. You bring him on in the second half where he can utilize his pace against tired legs and have him create, and just have Gyökeres and whoever else you're going to have in the 10 just sit in the box and put goals in, as far as I'm concerned. That's the only thing that should be going on. For me, starting Martinelli off on the right, you utilize his pace and the fact that he's right-footed on the right-hand side. He should be putting balls across the middle of the box all day long for either Eze or Gyökeres to bury in the back of the net and call it a day and move on to the next game. I mean, it's a simple sport, and it doesn't have to be this overcomplicated with some of these managers to get results and keep progressing forward as this club should be. So for me, that's the way I'm looking at it as far as that. But for a quick score prediction, what do you think the score line is going to be tomorrow against Brentford?
You know what? I reckon 2-1. I think we'll do it, but it's not going to be
a little dodgy.
Yeah. It's not going to be anywhere near as convincing. I just think we'll have enough to go over the line, and we'll just be like, we'll take the win. It won't. We won't have a 90-minute performance. We didn't against Sunderland. We haven't had it all season. We know this. Mm-hmm. But at this point of the season, mid-February, get the results, keep it ticking over. Like there's a saying in rugby, like during a game, and you can kind of, you know, especially during the season, it still kind of applies. Like you keep the points ticking over. You get them penalties. You knock over them penalties through the post, and you build the score. And then you start getting the tries, you know, you stink it out, you pick and drive, you know, bish, bash, bosh kind of rugby, what I call it. And in football, sometimes if you're not playing that well, just find a way in it. You know, we know our strengths, set pieces, balls into the box, which is why I agree with Martinelli on the right. You could play Jesus on the right, you could play him on the left, you could have Trossard in the middle, either way. But the rotating 10s, I fully agree with that because, yeah, the kind of 4-2-3-1, as much as I love a 4-4-2, the only reason why I have to say, the only reason why I suggested Jesus in the 10 is because being a 10, I think him not having the responsibility to score, be the vocal point up front, which we know he never has been and never will be.
Yeah.
I think, and especially coming off the bench, I think as a number 10, he'd do better than Odegaard. Now, would he do better than Havertz before he got injured?
That's a low ceiling. That's a low bar to set, though.
Of course, it's a low bar. And to be honest, he ain't the answer going forward. Neither is Havertz, and obviously Nick in the living guard needs to get the fuck out.
He should never play for this team again, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, get the fuck out of it. I hope Arteta sticks to his guns and just be like, "No, you're banished from the squad, innit? We'd rather Jesus at the." But that's my point, bro. I'd rather Jesus in the 10 coming off the bench. Obviously, I'm not going to say start him in most. No, because we've got Eberezer. He hasn't played enough. Yes, he's been getting tired, but again, it's all the defensive work, and he wasn't doing that at Palace, so he's not used to it. So you can say he could get a bit fitter, have a bit more like energy, like match fitness and all of that, a bit more stamina. I hear it. But at the same time, he's a fucking number 10, and we'll get into this a bit later. I fucking miss the classic number 10s. You know what I'm saying? Some of my favourite players were number 10s. Either out and out number 10s, or they could play on the left, or they could play on the right, or drift left or right, or both, innit? You know what I'm saying? But they were ballers, they were mavericks. They had personality. If you're telling me that Nick in the living guard is the best that we can do, folks, right here, right now, Fat Boy Slim settings, I'm sorry and not sorry at the same time. You are on that super sniff, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? You're on that fentanyl bullshit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had enough of these motherfuckers, Johnny. I've had enough of these motherfuckers.
Brother, I hear you because I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of the sideways wing to wing U-shaped bullshit. Everybody does it. It's so annoying, and it's like it's funny because we all say we don't want to see another ex-player become a manager of this club right now because of the PTSD with Arteta. But I got to be honest with you, man. If he leaves Como this year and he goes to a bigger team and actually starts getting trophies, we do need to keep an eye on Cesc Fabregas because what he's doing with Nico Paz right now is unbelievable. And listen, Nico Paz is
I've heard a lot of great.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Nico Paz is a serious baller. And
I need to be watching more Como games as well. Obviously, with the Napoli, that's kind of my second team now. Like when I was younger, I used to watch like Real Madrid, but mainly because of Zizou. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then Ronaldo, Fenomeno, and obviously you've got Roberto Carlos, Raul, loved Raul, and Guti, of course.
That was my
raid.
Guti,
do you know the thing is with Guti? Just very quickly, I know we'll get into it a bit later, but when I was watching Real Madrid, when I was a kid, like on the Sky Sports and all of that, because Revista de la Liga and all of that Guns is talking about, I know exactly what he's talking about because in the UK, in England, that was the show. But then there were live games on as well. The Barca's, Real Madrid's, Atleti, but more so Valencia, like etc. Villarreal before they reached the Champions League final and that proper teams, isn't it? Real Betis, and that we'll get into that a bit later. It's like you have proper ballers, you have proper players with flair, technique, finesse, the whole nine. And when my dad was like, "Look, son, I get that you love Zizou and Ronaldo, Raul, Beckham when he came later and all of that, Roberto Carlos, etc." He's like, "Watch Guti, bruv." And as soon as I watched Guti, I was mesmerized, bruv. How that guy never got the plaudits that he should have done. Do you know what I'm saying? Nowhere near a Ballon d'Or shout. And I know we all know it's rigged anyway because of the whole Pavel Nedved. He can go fuck himself for that, along with the Juve bullshit. But it is right about that. It is what it is. Very good player, but nowhere near the level. Do you know what I'm saying? Nowhere near the level of to be honest, a Pavel Nedved should have been born in this era. Then I would give him the Ballon d'Or. Maybe. just for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? In this era, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
He still wouldn't get it. Just quickly on that before we jump into the who you would pay to see. Yeah. Pavel Nedved, what a lot of people forget about is They just take it at face value that because he was there against Henry for that Ballon d'Or, that he had an unbelievable season. A lot of people need to go back and watch some highlights of that Lazio team. That team got carried more by Veron, Diego Simeone, and Sinisa Mihailovic than it did with Pavel Nedved, in my personal opinion, and also Roberto Mancini and Simone Inzaghi. And Simone Inzaghi is the two strikers on that team as well, along with Salas. I'm so sick of the Pavel Nedved overhype. I really am. You know, as somebody who's watched City A more than any other league, Pavel Nedved's one of the most overrated wingers there is, in my personal opinion. Pavel Nedved's one of the most overrated wingers. If you know, you know. If not, then it is what it is.
Would you say Lundberg was better than him? Like, seriously,
100%. 100%. Brother, here's the thing about Pavel Nedved, right? The thing about Pavel Nedved was the way that Lazio team was set up was he was able to have a free roll on that left-hand side. And then the other thing was, if you go back, yes, he had some very good goals with Juventus, but that whole left-hand side was wide open because you played off the same side that Del Piero played off of. Like, if you can't get into the pockets and score because of Del Piero is, you're not that fucking good. Let's just be real here, especially when you consider everybody else who was on that team. I mean, you're talking Pavel Nedved. The two guys up top is a mix between Del Piero and Trezeguet, and Del Piero and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fresh off of Ajax Zlatan. So let's be real here. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I hear it. I think for me, like, basically what you're saying is, and I can kind of agree with that to a certain extent, that Pavel Nedved at the time is basically the Bruno Fernandes before Bruno Fernandes, but the only difference is Bruno Fernandes is more central and Pavel Nedved is more left. I know he moved centrally later on down the line, but, like, you know, most of his work was like off the left. Because even when I was younger, I was just like, you remember obviously the FIFA days, isn't it? Like
he was left wing RSV. Juventus played a 4-4-2 flat with that team.
Yeah.
Del Piero wasn't playing left wing with that team.
Was it Takanadi and Edgar Davids in the middle of the park?
Davids was still there, but then eventually it turned into Emerson and Patrick Vieira as the two midfielders with that team, and then Mauro Camoranesi was on the right. So, just real quick for Quaja, they're both overrated, highly overrated.
Yeah, but
Neymar, because of a skill,
just on technical ability alone, like Neymar, like we don't even need to say much more than that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Neymar, the thing is with Neymar, Pavel Nedved, good player, but he was never really seen, especially at that time, even when we were growing up, as like. He was never seen as like a world beater. He was just put on that pedestal, innit? Whereas with Neymar, yes, he was put on that pedestal, but just on pure ability, he was meant to be the next in line. He just didn't want it. Similar to Eden Hazard. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, very similar types of players, but Neymar was more flamboyant. But it's just like, just on technical ability, Neymar, hands down. Like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, you know, Nedved is what it is. You know, he's been living off of that Ballon d'Or. To be honest, I reckon that Ballon d'Or got him that that Juve position in the director's box. Do you know what I'm saying? And a few other high roles in football. I wouldn't even be surprised if that Ballon d'Or has probably done him a world of good. It's probably keeping him afloat to this day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a
Nedved's doing what he's doing because he's loved at Juventus, and because Juventus can't get in trouble for anything that they do. That's the whole reason why he gets overhyped for it. Yes, defensively, they would set up as a 4-3-1-2 RSV. But if you look at how Lepi always played the team, it was majority 4-4-2, because Camoranesi would go on the right and they would mix in Tacchinardi, Edgar Davids, and everybody else that was still at that team. He would mix it into a 4-3-1-2 at times, but primarily they played 4-4-2 in the game. So we can agree to disagree on that if you like. I always saw him more as a left winger because he always drifted out left. and then would come into the center because of how he could play off of Del Piero, Trezeguet, and then eventually Zlatan as well. But it is what it is. I still think he's one of the most overrated players. But now, the fun part. The fun part is everyone's getting used to now with this. Real quick. No, he's not. No, he's not, Quaja. He's one of the most overrated players. And to be honest with you, Neymar should be considered one of the biggest wasted talents in the history of football. And that's a big discussion for another day. That discussion can go on for hours because I think Neymar is highly overrated, if I'm being quite honest with you. But Nat, you know how this is. Obviously, we've had Aaron. Shout out to Aaron Talks Arsenal. We've had Taryn. Shout out to BBK Sports. Who would you pay to put us if Napster could put a starting 11 together? Doesn't have to be the greatest of all time. Doesn't have to be anything particular. I know you're normally a 4-4-2 guy as far as the formation goes. But if Napster could put together a starting 11 that he would pay to go see, who would that be? And we'll start back to front. We'll go from goalkeepers to the strikers. But who would be your starting 11 to put together?
Yeah, do you know what? I actually just about finished my team, and I've got what would you call it? I've got a troubled position. Like I've got a kind of 50-50 Lamar settings kind of position, but we'll get into that a bit further up the field, I should say. But yeah, I know what's going in. Been looking forward to this all day. I'm not going to lie. I've just been thinking about even last night, just like when you messaged me, just like I understand what the task is. I'm going to do my homework. Just think about this. Didn't have the greatest nights of sleep, but to be honest, I never do. So it is what it is. It's a much of a muchness. And you're right. I'm going to go for a 4-4-2, but it's going to be super attacking. So basically, it's not going to be the traditional English or Italian. Let's be honest. Mine's going to be proper. Like the exception would be like a Don Carlito, maybe Roberto Mancini to a degree, because let's be real, his Man City team and all the other teams in the past, as you mentioned, was Inter and all of that, and what he did with Italia in the Euros, you can't knock it in it. And Chiesa was on fire that tournament. He was on absolute fire.
And just a side note on that, Liverpool should be ashamed of themselves that they don't give that kid more time.
100%. Gakpo is dog shit. He's not the dog's bollocks. He's just bollocks. He's fucking shit.
I don't think Gakpo is dog shit. I think he's playing out of position. He looks to me to be more of a guy that should be playing in a 4-4-2 as a secondary striker more than a winger. I just don't see Gakpo's technical enough, because when we saw him, I think was it the World Cup or the Euros recently, when him and Memphis Depay were linking up, they did look good, but he was much more central
because they got to the semis. We beat them to get to the final, face Spain. Right. And Xavi Simons scored a worldie that he'll probably never score again. And here's another one that's just very quickly, John. I have to say this. I'm actually disappointed with Xavi Simons. Do you know why? Because I remember, Touzani. Do you know what I'm saying? The freestyler in it. I think he's Dutch Moroccan and all of that. Like he's done bare videos with bare man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Eden Hazard and all of that, etc., etc. Yeah. But when he did one with a very young Xavi Simons, I was like, you know what? This kid's got the tech. If he keeps his head down and he does the right thing, he should go above levels. But it's never happened. Do you know what I'm saying? He's had a few stints at PSV. Now he's at Tottenham, absolutely stinking it out, bro.
And he sucked at Leipzig too. He sucked at Leipzig too.
There you go. Like, just not do it. And he always looks like, whenever something doesn't go his way, he always looks like he's about to fucking cry. Like, what a bitch, bro. He's a fucking bitch, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm mad disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Look, I'll hold my hands up and say I have no qualms with saying I get things wrong, innit? We can agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. But with Xavi Simons, I had high hopes. Not putting him up on a pedestal, but I expected more. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A little bit like Neymar, but a much, much lower level. I expected more. Do you know what I'm saying? And what Xavi Simons has done has been nothing but pure shit, to be honest. He's not lived up to anything, bro. We got Hakim Mastor that didn't even really make it. Do you know what I'm saying? he was way more technical. Do you know what I'm saying? Way more technical than Xavi Simons and all of that. But he never made it. Never had the mentality to even get anywhere near. Even Odegaard got ahead of him. They're the same age, bro. They were born in the same year. Odeklapt got ahead of him, bro. That's embarrassing. But that's modern football. So sorry to go off.
No, you're all good, brother. You're all good, man. Don't worry about it. It's open.
Have a little bit of tech. They got a funky Barnet or a very, exotic name and all that, and you expect good things from them at the very least, and then they produce fuck all.
Yep.
Fuck all. I mean, Pulisic was another one. He was lauded up as like the great white American whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? A bit of Baltic, maybe a tiny bit of Italian, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, hasn't delivered. And
well, I will say this: Pulisic has refound himself in Italy. I'd be interested to see if he does leave Milan after the season because he has been linked to go back to England. Tottenham has reportedly said that they're looking at him, which that would be fucking hilarious.
Pulisic, if you want to revive your career, son, personally from me, do not go Milan.
Stay at Milan.
You will be viewed as trust me. You will be viewed worse than Cody Gakpo, bro. Especially if he plays on the right or left. We know where he plays, innit? Like even if he tries to do the second strike, trust me, Spurs, it will not happen, bro. Because Xavi Simons will get in your way. I've been noticing that with Tottenham. He always gets in everyone's way, innit? He thinks he can do it all, and it's just not happening. But yeah, no, I hear it. He's been doing better at Milan, but we'll just have to see with Pulisic. But yeah, Xavi Simons and the rest of them, nah. Bun them. Do you know what I'm saying? Cody Gakpo, I don't rate him. Yeah, he's not playing in the right position, but for me, I don't get all the hype in it. If he was an out-and-out striker, similar to Rafael Leao, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he would look a lot better. But at the same time, it's just like, just not for me, bro.
Yeah. So all right, man. Let's get to this 11. Who you got in your goal for this team?
I had a number of picks because I did bear in mind it's not the best 11, it's the one that I would pay to see. Basically, my favorite 11. That's what I'm going with. And that's why I'll have a problem. That was the word I was looking for, problem position, innit? And I do have one, just one, but I do have one. I'm going to go with David Seaman. For me, he's Arsenal's best ever keeper, but he's not my GOAT in it. But he's Arsenal's GOAT keeper. Great for England, of course. Great for us. That save against Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi that was played at Old Trafford. Back in the days when they played at neutral grounds in semi-finals and they got rid of that because of a bit of Wonga, bit of moolah, bit of cash. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you call it around the world, Other nations and cultures and creeds are available, of course. It is what it is. We don't discriminate on here. We don't discriminate anywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, for me, like, David Seaman is the epitome of a great English goalkeeper. Not the biggest, not the tallest, but does the job. And he has a bit of finesse and style that you don't expect from him when you look at him. A little bit like, I thought about this. Nigel Martin was another one. He was close because he was a good keeper as well. Don't get me wrong. Nigel Martin was a good keeper. And when they went to Paul Robinson, it went to shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there were other problems with Leeds United before they went down. But let's keep it all the way James Brown. Ain't it funky in this bitch right here, right now? That was Slim saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Paul Robinson was part of that shit. There's no coincidence why it didn't work out with England. I think did he win a trophy in the end with Tottenham? Was he part of that League Cup winning, or did he go to Blackburn? That's it. I can't remember exactly.
I think he went to Blackburn, if I'm not mistaken.
In that 07-08, because before he was at Tottenham, I think he might have gone the season after 06, 07, 06. But yeah, either way, like Nigel Martin, I always liked. He went to the World Cup in 02, played some qualifying matches, done well. But yeah, like David Seaman for me, I mean, Arsenal, England, like born and raised like Yorkshire, Leeds, I believe. So yeah, and I've got a little soft spot for Leeds. Not as much as Newcastle, but Leeds is up there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with Leeds, innit? I've been to Leeds as well. Leeds is a banging night out, and so is Newcastle. Guns ain't bullshitting about Newcastle, bro. Trust me. If you can bear the cold, which I know you fucking can, because you live in Chi-Town, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? You all love Newcastle, innit? The birds are buff, bro. for the most part, innit? You'll love it, mate.
Okay.
I loved it. I'm not even a social guy, bruv. I don't even go out that much. And even like back, I'm talking 10 years ago, bruv, Newcastle. Woo! Like, but yeah, David Seaman for me.
Okay.
He's my number one. He's my number one. And I would pay to watch him because he pulled some fantastic saves, bruv. Everyone gives him shit for being lobbed by Ronaldinho, but come on, it's fucking Ronaldinho, bruv.
Yeah.
Fucking Ronaldinho.
And at the time,
we weren't expected to win that game anyway. We did better than what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Michael Owen, first goal, and then obviously Ronaldinho carved through our defense because Paul Scholes can't fucking defend. I don't care if he puts the boot in more often than not. He can't fucking defend, but we all know this, innit? Fergie knew it. Do you know, we all knew it deep down. But on the ball, it was class, innit? So it is what it is. But yeah,
so,
David Seaman,
okay. I've gone with out of left field with this one. Maybe some people will remember him or not, but I've gone with Francesco Toldo. I think Toldo gets a lot of bad flack. He was a very good goalkeeper for Inter. Very good goalkeeper overall. I just think the guy caught a lot of flack. I happen to see him live one time back in the day, and yeah, man, always had respect for Toldo. It is what it is. You were behind the greatest goalkeeper of all time, in my opinion, for as far as Buffon, but it is what it is. So I've gone with Toldo as my goalkeeper. Which side do you want to start out as far as left backs? You want to go with your right or your left-sided left back?
I'm gonna go right first because I'm right-handed. Keeps things simple for me. It is what it is. It sounds a bit random, but whatever. Like I'll start with right back. Now I said before that I'm going attacking, so this ain't no English and definitely not Italian 4-4-2 or back four, I should say. Definitely not. So you will be probably disappointed with at least one or two, definitely one. But like for me, I was raised on scintillating total football with Arsene Wenger, and then the whole Jogo Benito, you know, the Nike adverts back in the day when you had Nakata, you had Francesco Totti was on there as well before he got the Diodora deal. A lot of people forget that shit. I don't. And that's why I put Totti as right up there, like yourself, in it, even though he was at Roma, one-man club and all that. But like, yeah, and obviously the TTs, the Ronaldos, the Figos, etc. It's ballers, bro, ballers. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Dani Alves, bro. Like, I'm going, like, I know defensively he's not the best, but, like, I would pay to watch him. I'm not going to lie. The shit that I saw him do, I didn't see him enough at Sevilla, but when he was at Barca, and even he did well at Juve, to be fair. He actually did pretty well at Juve. So...
Who did you say again? I'm sorry.
Dani Alves. Dani Alves.
Okay. Second person to go with Danny. Okay.
Because I'm going attacking, bruv. So you'll see what's going on with my team, bruv. Like there will be the odd hidden gem here and there, but we've gone with two well-known, or I've gone rather, sorry, with two well. But to be fair, just very quickly with Toldo, I've always rated Toldo. I haven't seen him as much as I probably should have done. But he ended up getting replaced just due to age and, you know, just the cycle of life, innit, of football. With, was it Julio Cesar, innit? Like, you know,
it was Cesar that replaced.
Yeah. Julio Cesar was understudy to Toldo, innit? And then the career that he had, treble winner and all of that. So massive respect to Toldo, innit? But again, Gigi Buffon, you know,
exactly.
Doesn't matter how good you are, unless you're better than him, you ain't gonna make the team. So yeah, Dani Alves for me, like obviously we know him more as going forward. I don't think he's as bad defensively, at least for me personally. I just think for me, usually I would go with defense first and then be able to go forward. But at the same time, if you have solid centre backs and a midfield that know where to be and have that much creativity and that great on the ball where we just keep the ball, not tiki-taka, but like total football, innit? You know, like when we play back in the I'm thinking more like Arsenal, innit? Where no one could get the ball off of us. Yes, we had Gilberto Silva that was defensive minded, but before that we had Edu as a player, as a director of football. Fuck him and his toes and all of that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Toe sucking prick. But outside of that, as a player, he was class, innit? You know, went to Valencia, did well and all of that. Like, and then obviously, you know, had the Bobby Perez's, the Freddie Lumber, all very attacking, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Lauren was another one I was thinking of. Lauren, very attacking, not the greatest defensively, but did the business in it, and he was great with pens as well. Dani Alves can take pens; he can take free kicks. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Roberto Carlos mold, but for me, I always give props to Dani Alves because he's the kind of right back that I love in it. Like where they're always willing to go forward, but they're just about good enough defensively with that high level of tech and elite mindset, ability, all of that shit, composure. It's a big theme you're going to find in my back line. You know, attacking, but solid where it needs to be. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like we're always going to be dangerous, on the flanks in it. That's my thing. I know you're obviously more defensive, and I fully rate it. I respect it, and I totally understand it. But no, me,
the guy that
I'm a total football guy. You're more like proper Italia heritage, tactical, defensive, proper. But you had the greatest in terms of defenders across the back line and even goalkeepers. So I hear it in it. When you have that heritage, I hear it. But England, we've had certain players. Right. But it's like, on the flanks, like, I didn't think about Gary Neville. Like, I didn't forget it, but it's just like, would I pay to watch him? No. Was he a very good right back? Yes. Like, he was good, but he wasn't, he wasn't amazing.
He gets hyped up because he was with Manchester United.
I mean, Phil Neville was a lot worse. I mean, the fact that Rance was comparing Declan Rice to Phil Neville, I don't care how decent he was at Everton playing DM. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Phil Neville, puts the boot in. The only difference is he's tactically better than Paul Scholes defensively. That is it. Yeah. Gary Neville, he's pretty good at his best, whatever.
He's solid.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't pick him. I would have picked Lauren ahead of him. And
so
Lauren,
to what you said, I'm going to go with the guy who's a better blend. Much better defensively than Alves, but obviously not as good offensively. But this guy could play anywhere outside of striker. I went with another Inter guy. I went with Javier Zanetti. For me, Zanetti is arguably the greatest right back in Italian in Serie A history. If I'm being quite honest with you,
I'd agree with that.
Zanetti. The thing was that by the time everybody saw Zanetti, they didn't see majority of the time that he was at right back, because at the time when Inter was dominating. When they finally got over the hump and started dominating with Roberto Mancini and Jose at the helm as managers, he was playing more of a midfield role because they had gotten Maicon. So, and Maicon at his time at Inter, before Gareth Bale destroyed him, Maicon was an unbelievable right back.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was great.
No, I'm gonna go with Javier Zanetti, and then at the same time at the left back, I'm gonna go with the more attacking left back, but still solid defensively. And a big shout out to that old Deportivo La Coruña team. I went with Capdevila. I think Capdevila. He's up there. Cafu is better going forward than Zanetti. However, Cafu, when you look at what he was doing with Milan, with Roma, where it was there before Milan, he was more of a right wing back. And again, for me, like the way Natster was saying it, I like a better blend of players that can do both. Cafu is much more of a offensive-minded fullback than he is defensive. However, he could do the job defensively.
Yeah, he's more my type of forward. And before you go on to talk about Capdevila rather, because I remember I saw him a lot more later at Villarreal. And even before we played them in the semi-final. What a player, by the way. Underrated. But the other option I was thinking of was it Alessandro Florenzi? Is that his first name, Alessandro Florenzi?
Yeah, that's a funny choice.
I thought about him because I was like, you know what? He was a pretty good right back as well. Wasn't he the guy that scored that banger against Barca?
Against Barca, yeah.
But he's
Florenzi's one of those
right back, especially Italian right back, and that's why I always rated him, because he's got the engine. He's not too bad defensively, but going forward, the
funny thing about Florenzi was he was a winger. He was a
Yeah,
winner
yeah,
at first.
yeah. I could tell. Yeah.
They moved him into the defensive line. But the thing is, Florenzi's a part of that long list of players and talent post 2010 that had huge potential,
Mm.
but just never got to it. They had flashes here and there, like when Rudy Garcia took over Rome and they were a really good team for 2 years. That was where Florenzi was showing signs that he could be a top player, but injuries just caught up with him, and the fact that nobody knew what to do with him, because at the time Rome was bouncing with different players coming in and out of the wings, and it was a chaotic time with Rome at that period. So I don't think Florenzi, I just don't think Florenzi was able to keep up with the times, if I'm being quite honest with you. When he got pushed into the defensive line, it was just a situation where he didn't work enough at his defense over time as he got older. He relied way too much on his technical ability, but his legs went out from underneath him really fast, which is why he never got up to it. Cafu, for me, is better all time than Javier Zanetti, as far as if you're talking about best right backs of all time. But the thing is about Cafu that a lot of people forget about is Cafu was another one of those guys like Batistuta, where he stayed on a lower level team in Italy longer than what he should have. He should have made the move to Milan a lot earlier than what he did with Rome. In my opinion, he should have bolted from Rome as soon as they won the Scudetto, but obviously he stayed around. He stayed around for the 2 extra years before he went on to go with AC Milan. It's just one of those things where, when you look at it, yes, Cafu was an unbelievable player, but Zanetti, I think, because of the all-around player where he could play anywhere, is the reason why he would get into my team over Cafu, even though I 100% respect anybody's decision to go with Cafu as their right back. I mean, for me, Cafu for me is top 3, top 4 best right backs possibly ever to touch the ball, in my opinion.
He's my best right back ever for me personally.
Yeah.
Just that type of right back is the ultimate. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when people say, "Oh, he's the next Cafu," Gary Neville was nowhere near. He couldn't even dream to be anywhere near that level.
No, hell no.
Offensively or even defensively as well. Willy Sagnol, I remember him. Christian
I think Sagnol's better than solid, if I'm being quite honest with you. Willy Sagnol was a badass right back for Bayern.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he was. I think he was part of that France team that made the World Cup final. Christian Panucci as well was another one.
He was okay. Panucci was okay.
Yeah, no, I thought he was pretty good. Mikhail Salgado.
Salgado was okay. Salgado was okay. Sagnol's better than solid for me. I think Sagnol doesn't get the respect he deserves. It's mostly because he had to replace Lizarazu for France, and I mean, there's no comparison between those guys.
He was proper left back.
I'll be honest with you. I think Kyle Walker is another one of those that's in the same.
Overrated, bro. Mad overrated. He would be shocking, bro. Defensively, he would be all over the place. Why is he at Burnley now, bro? And it's not like he's slow, but he's nowhere near as quick as he used to be. He's quick, but he's nowhere near that quick.
Kyle Walker is one of those. Kyle Walker is one of those players that I think perfectly shows why the sport as a whole has gone down to shit, because of the fact that he's one of those players that's more of an athlete than he is an actual footballer.
Oh, he's 100%.
And the technical, he doesn't have the technical ability like that. I think he's just I just think he's more of a pace merchant, because like Napster said, no, we're not coming, Quaja, we're not coming at you as far as that. I understand it.
Yeah, no.
And that you didn't watch Cafu. All I'm saying is for Walker, for me, I think Walker, he's hyped up along with a lot of them players for Manchester City are hyped up because of the dominant run that they had. It's just that the problem is that, again, it shows why the level of football across the board has gone down the drain. Technical ability, he has none, and it's just because of the the speed.
And that's the thing. If he was able to cross,
bro, you don't have to apologize. It's your opinion. That's that's what this show is all about.
My thing is,
everybody can agree to disagree with this, or everybody can agree on different things. Again, that's what this show is about. It's to give different perspectives on the players. But to move it along from this, who would you go with your left back? You said Dani Alves. You said you're ultra attacking. I'm interested to hear where you're going to go with this for the ultra attacking.
This will probably be the most controversial, but I will explain my reason. And again, like what you mentioned just a second ago, it is about opinions. But for me, like I'm going with Marcelo. Like just yes.
Ooh, okay.
Defensively, I know, innit? Before anyone else says, I don't have an issue with people disagreeing. And again, for me, I'm picking my favorite team. I would pay to watch Marcelo all day. Even if he was in a team that played a back three and he was playing left mid, which probably would suit him more. Left winger would
be awesome as a wing back.
Wing back, for damn sure. Wing back for damn sure. But even at left back, what he did at Real Madrid, Real Madrid kind of accepted him for what he is at that time. And I'm glad that they did, because otherwise we would have never got to see what he did. Remember, I think it was against Bayern Munich. You know, that ball was coming in for Carvajal. And Carvajal, for me, is levels to infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear settings, levels above Kyle Walker and Gary Neville, of course, as well, among others. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Carvajal doesn't get the respect he deserves. I agree with Guns when he said Carvajal's a proper right back. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
To be honest, I would say he's better than Mikel Salgado, and I loved Mikel Salgado.
Oh, 100. I think Carvajal's been unfairly looked at because he was in a team with all those other stars that we've come to love over the years with this Madrid team. But I think Carvajal puts himself right up there. Definitely as far as this generation of players post, 2010 that type of thing, Carvajal might be the best right back. In that, as far as guys who got off to their peak post 2010, he might be the best one.
And he was at Leverkusen at one point as well, and then to Real Madrid. So props to him. But I'm going for Marcelo because the way he epitomizes Joga Benito for me. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like back in the day, I used to watch like the Skiller FIFA video. Like, even I wasn't mad in Ultimate Team up. Like, it wasn't really until like 2012, 2013. Like, basically, FIFA 13 was that game for me. In it, like, I played a lot of career mode, but Ultimate Team, like, where you pick the team that you want to pick, well, that you can afford, really and truly, before they started ripping the coin selling and all that shit, like that whole casino. But you know, Joe. The thing is, I actually had Marcelo in my team, bro, at one point. Like, Marcelo for me, like, he epitomizes Joga Benito. We know he's not the best defensively. I don't think he's as bad defensively as certain people would say. Do you know what I mean? But what he offers,
a real good defensive center. But I mean, look,
you do. I didn't think you. I thought you'd be like, oh, he's okay defensively.
He proved his defense. He proved his defense. The second double that they won under Carlo Ancelotti, when he had to play center back for half the damn season with all
So, and then after that, when David Alba came in, and no, that was another thing. I almost forgot about David Alaba, not Alba. I wanted Jordi. Jordi Alba, but nah. I like Jordi Alba, but nah. Nowhere near as good. But the things with Marcelo for me, other than David Alaba in it, set pieces, can defend, started out as a midfielder, technically sound. He, for me, he's one of Austria's best ever players.
Oh yeah, for Alaba,
For how long? When was the last time they had a generational player, Austria? I'm gonna be real. You could say Marko Arnautovic's quality. I rate Marko Arnautovic, but
he didn't live up to the potential, man. He didn't live up to the potential for Arnautovic.
He goes in as another wasted talent. But David Alaba,
Alaba is a very good player. So,
Alaba, and you know how composed he is. Like, he was another one of my picks in it because he could play left back. He played a lot for Bayern and. Centre back, He's
another one of those guys that's just a natural player. He could play in a ton of different positions because
he can play pretty much anywhere other than goalkeeper.
The problem was the injuries. The problem was the injuries with him. He could never fucking stay healthy.
Yeah. But I thought, you know what? Because, like, here's the thing, and I've had this before. Like, I think I was with one girl at one point, where she thought, because I knew a few like Portuguese words. I'm not fluent in Portuguese by any means, but like she thought I was Brazilian because of like the way I look, like my well, the French would say laissez-faire, you know, like calm, relax.
Yeah.
I know when I'm passionate and like yourself, we're like really not intimidating or aggressive, but like we're antied up. Do you know what I'm saying? Annie up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah. We're just like that. But for the most part, we're just calm guys. And Marcelo, for me, is just like, he plays without a care in the world. And that stop on the sole of his foot, that ball control, I think it was against Bayern Munich. Yeah. For me, technically, he's one of the best players I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie, bro, in any position. For me, technically, he's one of the best I've ever seen. And we've seen the lot, bro. For me, like late 90s, well, mainly the noughties for me, early noughties, but like for the past 20, 25 years, yeah, Ashley Cole, I thought about Ashley Cole, but do you know what? Like Ashley Cole would probably be the best for me because of the all-round. He was great going forward, but defensively, he was like, I don't know, so much better.
That's a shout. He's up there. Ashley Cole's definitely top 5
for me. I know. I saw when you had that stream with what's his face, Aaron. Yeah, obviously Maldini played left back. I'm aware of that. He played left back in the Champions League final against Liverpool, which they should have won, by the way. Like it was criminal how they didn't win it. They were 3-0 up. But like, yeah, like. But for me, Maldini, like I just saw, and we'll get into it like with the centre backs. But like for me, Maldini's the greatest ever defender. But you'll see with my centre back picks, like who I pick and why. But like with Marcelo, I'll finish up with Marcelo. He epitomizes Jogo Bonito. He can play in every position. Technically, he's one of the best players I've ever seen. You know, like even now, the things that he can do with the football is mesmeric. It's absolutely sensational. I'm almost running out of superlatives. I'm in awe. When you know that goal that Cristiano scored, and he just went through Bayern like it was nothing, bruv. And he jewed it, he squared it to him, bruv. That's what I'm talking about. As great as Ashley Cole was, he was never doing that. Not that going forward. Like he was great going forward, but never that. David Alaba, as much as I rate him, super highly. One of the best in our generation, you know, one of the best I've ever seen as a defender, but could also play midfielder and that, you know, all-rounder. He's an all-rounder boss. But Marcelo, man, and I agree with you. I think he gets a lot of slack that he doesn't deserve when it comes to his defensive play. And obviously, the older he got, the better he got defensively. But going forward, he always had it, bro. Like, technically, he always had it. Yeah. And for me, Jogo Bonito, like, and I'll say this as well, as much as I love Roberto Carlos, this is where the controversial take is going to come in. As much as I love Roberto Carlos, for me, Roberto Carlos was defensively better. Obviously, he done great things going forward and that. But for me, Marcelo on the ball was better than Roberto Carlos, for me, personally. Ooh. I know that's going to be a wild take, just purely on the ball. Purely on the ball. Like, as an all-round left back, I hear him being better than Marcelo. I'm not going to dispute that personally. But the way I love to see football, especially outfield, wherever you play outfield, like even centre back, but more so like fullbacks, wing backs, and then obviously the midfielders, the wide players, offensive players, and then obviously the strikers and the number 10s or second strikers. I've gone with the second striker, but you'll see kind of my pick. It will be kind of a unique one. Well, it's not going to be the most unique one. No spoilers here, but like still like. I'm just gassed, bro, because
now I'm interested.
Marcelo is one of the best I've ever seen, technically.
You've gone Marcelo and Alves as your fullbacks. You got Seaman as the goalkeeper. Obviously, you are going offensive with the so far. Who's going to be your center back pairing to cover this back line with this offensive mentality? I'm interested to see this. Who you got covering the back line?
Just not like just defensive frailties, but on the ball geniuses. Do you know I'm just like doing the 5-a-side on 11-a-side, just like fuck it. If you score 3, we're gonna get 10, bro. But to be honest, that's kind of my mentality anyway. The difference is I respect because I've seen the best Italian teams of the last 20 years. You know, the Maldinis, and talking to Cannavaros, and I'm talking the one that. Here's my first pick, yeah, because for me, he is everything that Rio Ferdinand is lauded up in this country and so much more. 100-fold, not 10-fold, times 10-fold, 100 times fold. You'll probably know who I'm going with here, bro.
Real
Alessandro.
quick.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Give a shout out to Zier. Big up my guy Zier every time, and big up everybody that came over for the raid. If you can, smash the like if you're just coming in, and appreciate you guys stopping by. And just letting everybody know this is Natster's Who You Would Pay to See 11, and my guy, real quick, my man, Kyle Walsh, my guy. I gotta get you on here for your 11 that you would pay.
Oh, absolutely! I'll be here for it as well. I'll be here for that, man.
But to go back now. So you were starting. I heard Alessandro. Is that a Nesta I'm hearing? Is the
yeah? Do you know what, Gianni? Yeah, I'm not. Even for me, he's not. I would say he's not the best defender in history across not just Italian, but across the board. But he is up there for me. And to be honest, he's my favorite defender of all time. And I'm going to tell you why. Like, I need everyone, not just yourself, but I want everyone to know why I've always lauded up this guy and why. And we've had this conversation about Rio Ferdinand. I don't think Rio Ferdinand's shit, by the way. Just because we don't put them up as highly as everyone else, it doesn't mean that we think they're shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, like, unless we say they're shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll be honest with you real quick before you go. In my personal opinion, Rio Ferdinand's not top 10, probably not even top 15 or 20 center backs of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Oh, 100%, I'd agree with that.
I think Rio Ferdinand gets more of the benefit of the doubt because he was with Manchester United during the time that the Premier League started booming, and with all the financials and everything that started going up for the Premier League. I don't think Rio Ferdinand. I think Rio Ferdinand for me is, and this may sound blasphemous for some people, I think he's a poor man's version of Sergio Ramos. He overcompensated on his pace, was constantly caught out of position. You know, I think Nemanja Vidic is a much better defender than he is, because Vidic had
out defender. Yeah.
Vidic had to clean up the mess so many times that Ferdinand would create by stepping out of position, because he always, if I get beat, I could just turn around and catch him.
And for the level of arrogance that Rio Ferdinand still has to this day, you know, like, you were good, you were great even, but you weren't that fucking great. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for me with Rio Ferdinand, like, and I'll move it back to Nesta as well. Don't worry, people. You're gonna get the prime time, freshly squeezed orange juice. Do you know what I'm saying? The proper stuff, the healthy shit that we do round here, right now, Fat Boys Dim Scenes. Yeah. For me with Rio Ferdinand, even before he went to Man United, like Leeds, do you know who he had at Leeds? Right, he had a certain Lucas Radebe, bruv. Now he was. I considered him before a Rio Ferdinand, bruv. A Tony Adams and even a John Terry before a Rio Ferdinand. In my opinion,
those two hands down are better.
Oh yeah, easily. But Lucas Radebe, mad underrated, bruv. Mad underrated. He was part of that Leeds team that were up there, challenging, doing bits in Champions League. If it was Rio Ferdinand and then another centre back, they wouldn't have got as far as they did. Do you know what I'm saying? Lucas Radebe was solid, bruv. Yeah, and he was a leader as well, like a Tony Adams, a John Terry, and he was South African, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? They didn't have great players that could play at that level, as far as I'm aware, not at that time. And like with Rio Ferdinand, it's just like, yeah, you're good on the ball, but if that's your best attribute as a centre back, you're basically the original, you're the OG modern day centre back. The difference is Sergio Ramos did it better and he won more. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. He done it better and he won more. Same with PK to a degree as well. Like, so
same. I think he's overrated too.
I hear it.
Aaron said it on his, and I said it as well. I thought the center back pairing of Rafa Marquez and Puyol was better than Puyol and PK. I agree. Yeah. I thought PK was very overrated. I think you could
underrated Rafa Marquez as well. I always liked him. Rated him proper.
This is a very controversial take, RSV. I don't agree with this. I think Adams
Terry definitely would have survived. Terry played till like 2018, bro. 2017-18, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that was technically the modern game. Let's be honest. So Terry definitely survived in the modern game.
Yeah.
Adams, I think, would as well.
Yes.
Especially if he stopped drinking, he would definitely survive the modern game.
I agree. And with this as well. I think, again, this show is all about for your opinion. So nobody can be wrong. Nobody can be right.
Bearing in mind, they are centre-backs. And here's the thing. This is probably the best and most defensive decisions that I'm actually going to make are the centre-backs. But again, it's for good reasons, isn't it? If you're going to be total football, Joga Benito settings, bruv, you've got to have some defensive security, isn't it? And that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing the not even the fish and chips 4-4-2, yeah? It's the chicken and chips with a little bit of space. You know what I'm saying? Chris Eubank senior settings and all that. You know people. Like, for me, Alessandro Nesta, yeah, to get back to it, right? The reason why he was my favourite centre-back is because he had other than Paolo Maldini, of course, he had everything. Good control of the football. He could pass it well as well on top of that. Defensively, class. And even against the Ronaldinhos, the Zizous, we're talking greatest. Some of the greatest, Dennis Bergkamps and all of them ones there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ronaldo Fenomeno, bro. He said himself, Ronaldo Fenomeno, the greatest, bro. There's a reason, bro. There's a reason. He played against prime time Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, real bad man and all of that shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Alessandro Nesta's a real one. He says it how it is. Even like when people are interviewing him, he don't give a fuck, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? He's chilling. He says it how it is. He doesn't do the PC, PR bollocks. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a cool, composed guy. He's so suave. Like, and he oozes class. Similar to a Maldini. Maldini is definitely a level or two above. Don't get me wrong. But he's my favourite. He's not the best, but he's my favourite, bruv. Like, Alessandro Nesta was playing against some of the best forwards, the best midfielders, like number 10s, known to man, bruv. And on the ball, he was wicked. His defence was even better. And coming up against Ronaldinho, 06, prime time, goated Ronaldinho. Do you know that bit where he goes past Gattuso like he's not even there? And I know you...
Like most people did.
yeah. I know your thoughts on it. I hear it. Look, I hear it, mate. I hear it. But then, like, when he tried to flick it over Ronaldinho, a lot of people might not remember this, but I'm just going to remind you folks, yeah, because I've got elephant brain and all that shit, yeah? Ronaldinho was going to flick it over Nesta's head. This was in the second leg of the semi-finals of the Champions League in 06, before Barca ended up going to it might have been the first leg, but when it was in the San Siro, when they played Milan Barca in the San Siro, Ronaldinho goes past Gattuso and that, goes to Alessandro Nesta, tries to flick it over his head. Alessandro Nesta was like, nah, not today, mate. So Ronaldinho was like, do you know what? I'll flick it elsewhere. That is goated, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care what anyone says, even respectfully yourself, Johnny. For me, he's right up there. And as a favourite, I would pay to watch him all day, every day. And he's a World Cup winner. Is he a Champions League winner? Is
Yes.
Yeah, Champions League winner. Is he a World Cup winner? Did he?
Yes.
Yeah. He's won it all, bro. He's literally won it all on top of that as well. Like, the guy oozes just class, charisma, character, no nonsense, and he's quality on the ball. What more do you want from a centre-back? Other than Paolo Maldini, of course. Do you know what I'm saying? Other than that.
And here, to the testament of what you're saying, guess who he taught, who we all laud as a very good center back of all time as well, is Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva learned under Nesta with that AC Milan team.
Understudy, Thiago Silva was his understudy, yeah.
Correct. So I 100% agree with Nesta. The only thing that I always say about Nesta is this. Nesta robbed himself of arguably being the greatest center back of all time because of all the constant injury problems he had when he was at Milan. If Nesta was way healthier in that time frame with Milan win probably at least another 2 Scudettes under Carlo Ancelotti's reign, even with how good the Serie A was at the time and how dominant Inter was. Milan ran them close. I think part of the issues was the fact that Nesta was hurt because he had everything. He had pace for a center back. He was an unbelievable aerial defender. Could win a header against anybody. Very deceptively good on the ball as well. In my opinion, the best pure slide tackler of all time. I don't think I've ever seen anybody make better slide tackles than this.
I loved it when he was sliding across the. Sorry, I loved it when he was sliding across the pitch. Like as soon as he slid, you know he was winning the ball damn near every single time. And like you said, deceptively great on the ball. He could pass it as well. Do you know what? Yeah, people model modern centre backs, and I'll actually take back what I said in terms of OG modern centre backs. For me, it's actually Nesta. It's not even Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand is what everyone looks up to and aspires to be. But what they should actually be is Alessandro Nesta, bro, who took Thiago Silva under his wing. Thiago Silva became his understudy, and then you saw what happened.
Yep.
Eventually won the Champions League, granted with proper Chelsea and all of that.
Yep.
Should have done better with Brazil, but again, Brazil have had their many problems.
All the good centre backs weren't there after one season.
Yeah, as well.
I mean, the fact that Brazil got
Gabriel, do you know what I'm saying? And all of
yeah,
that.
exactly.
I thought about Gabriel, but to be honest, like the way that I'm going about this, bro,
you know what the thing is, and then we'll go on to the other
perfection. Yeah,
the thing that I think a lot of people mistake on this, I think the thing that a lot of people mistake about this to what you said with Ferdinand as far as a modern footballer. The thing is with Ferdinand is, again, this is why I talk about that he's overrated. A lot of guys who have the pace don't have the ability to read the game properly. So, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people see when they're talking about they couldn't play in the modern game because they don't have the pace. If you know how to read the game, you don't need the pace. Paolo Maldini taught us that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Paolo Maldini went from being the greatest left back of all time to going to one of the greatest center backs of all time at the same time when he moved over as he got older. And he was nowhere near as fast as a lot of the players in Serie A or across Europe at that time frame, but he was still locking them up because it's more important for you to read and anticipate more than it is for you to have pace. You know, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, again, this is why I always say modern day football, it's more about the players being more athletes than it is about them being pure footballers. That's the reason why I think there's that huge difference in the way people read the game as far as being older versus younger. Nowadays, it's all about your athleticism makes you a better player than what it is. But if you could read the game better, that's the key thing. And I'll go to RSV on this. I don't think Virgil van Dijk is overrated. I think Virgil van Dijk isn't overrated as far as being considered one of the best center backs of this time. But when we start comparing him to the best, Van Dijk is in a similar camp with Ferdinand. He's not as high up as a lot of people put. And again, as I said, people who can read the game don't need to have the pace.
And the injury killed him as well. Against Everton, that injury just wrecked the rest of his career. Well, and let's be honest. Like,
I disagree with that. I think the honest problem is what we saw last season. If Jurgen Klopp Jurgen Klopp ran a lot of them players into the ground. Let's just call it for what it is. The way he played football, the way he played football with the rock and roll heavy metal football, as he liked to call it, a lot of guys got ran into the ground, which is why we saw at different times across the stretch that he was at Liverpool. There would be times where Liverpool looked absolutely gassed because they couldn't keep up with that 100, just 100 miles an hour every single season. There's always going to be a time frame where you get gassed, because you could honestly say Jurgen Klopp at the different times where he had the leads in the season, he should have walked away with 2 or 3 Premier Leagues to his name, not only one. So I think that's part of the thing. Van Dijk, I mean, here's the thing. If you refuse, you don't have to be a defender that can commit to 1-to-1. Again, if you read the game, which I think Van Dijk reads the game as a center back better than most nowadays. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is I just don't think Virgil van Dijk, is in the conversations with the Maldinis, the Franco Baresis, the Tony Adams, the Nestas. He's not in that category. I think Virgil van Dijk.
To be honest, I'm gonna be real, Gianni. Like, sorry to cut you off, bro. Like,
no, go ahead.
In my opinion, he's not better than Vincent Kompany. I'm not saying that Virgil.
I disagree with that one. I think Vincent Kompany is highly overrated.
You think he's but
I think Kompany's overrated.
Kompany's a good defender. I think the things with Kompany, like, he wasn't that quick, but he could read the game at a good level. Yes, he was part of a great team, But I see what you're saying with the. For me, a better comparison for me would be him and Vincent Kompany. You think Virgil van Dijk's better? I could hear that. But for me personally, I would rather a Vincent Kompany. I'm not going to put into perspective like he scored a banger against Leicester City to win the league, and I'm not going to, a lot of these modern day fans, they praise attacking play as to why even defenders or this defender's better than that defender and certain defensive type of. I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, for me, I would rather a Vincent Kompany. And Vincent Kompany, for me, there's also like leadership in terms of like organizing the defense. So even if you're not technically as good as a centre back, but if you know how to keep a defensive line in shape, organized, he definitely does that better than Van Dijk for me. Whereas with Van Dijk on his own, I think there is definitely an argument to say that there are certain things that he does better than Vincent Kompany. But for me, I would rather watch Vincent Kompany, and I think there's certain things that he does better than Van Dijk as well, with less pace, I might add as well. Great in the air. He's got that shithousery as well. So does Van Dijk, to be fair.
For me, people may think I'm crazy for saying this, but again, this is where everybody speaks their mind, and it's an open forum. I think Vincent Kompany was one of the key players that was part of the problem why City couldn't win a Champions League. Because again, similar to Ferdinand, I think Kompany overcompensated for himself, thinking that he was that good of a one-on-one defender and got caught out all the time. Everybody knew City that entire period. If you can stink out enough of a game where they don't score, that defense is ripe for the taking on a counterattack. And we've seen it time and time again throughout their history on that run before they won the Champions League. And Kompany was one of the main culprits in that period of them getting caught out against shit teams, where there was that period where City couldn't even get past the first round of the knockouts. So for me, I think Kompany is a little bit highly touted as well. He was a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good center back. I just don't think
he was quality. But for me, it's just like I think with Vincent Kompany, for me personally, his biggest issue was that when it didn't go well, like he thought he could do it all on his own. Like he got the organization down, but when it was down to him, he hit him in his mind, because he's a fucking psycho. You saw that in the Club Brugge? No, not Club Brugge, Anderlecht, and what he did at Burnley, and then what you see him doing at Bayern. Fair play what he's doing at Bayern Munich right now, the way they play. And his brain, he's got a massive head, bigger than mine, but he is an intelligent guy. Don't get me wrong. He has his flaws, don't get me wrong. So does Van Dijk, but he's a very intelligent guy. And he does read the game well. But for me, I think part of the overcompensation, what you're talking about, Gianni, is that the fact that in certain situations, he's trying to do the Captain Save-A-Ho shit. Do you know what I'm saying? When you do Captain Save-A-Ho shit, you have to be that guy that has everything you need. Nothing more, nothing less. And he's not that guy. When you have an Alessandro Nesta, not even primetime Alessandro Nesta, even like 08, 09 Nesta, as an example, you know what I mean? Where he's at his peak, past his peak, he can do that shit. There are other defenders, Chiellini on the rise and all that. They can do that shit. You know what I mean? But with Vincent Kompany, when you think you're a hell of a lot better in every single situation that comes up on the football field than you actually are, and sometimes you just need to just chill and not lose your head. The thing is with Kompany, we've seen it over the years. Centre-backs and defensive-minded play, basically DMs and centre-backs in it, and defensive-minded fullbacks where they just lose their head. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll get a red card here and there when they shouldn't do. They didn't need to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Virgil van Dijk, what gives him the edge over Kompany in certain situations is Virgil van Dijk has a lot cooler head. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a lot more composed. He's more relaxed, and you see that in his play. Do you know what I'm saying? He doesn't like panic, and he doesn't get aggravated as much. So I give you that. But before I go and top up the Desperado, do you know what I'm saying? I think it's 6.9% and all of that. I'm on one.
Who is your other center back then? So you have Nesta. Who's the other center back you're going with in this?
I thought about Kompany. I'm not going to lie, but because I would kind of pay to watch him, and he scored a banger. Yes, I'm not going to put that as the reason, but if you got that in your locker, fair play. You've obviously got the likes of Naldo. You remember Naldo, innit?
Yep.
Alex. They could hit them humdingers, chicken zingers. Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yep.
Free kicks, long range shots. But for me, the most defensive, okay, maybe the most out and out centre back, let's just say, my personal favourite at Arsenal Football Club, we got him from the top Spurs. Do you know what I'm saying? The guy that was a free agent, the guy that got us our last double, by the way, Sol fucking Campbell. Okay. And for me personally, I don't care if he's on that zesty shit. When he was on that pitch, he done the business, innit? And he was no punk. I don't care what anyone says. On the pitch, yes, he's a bit of a moaner and all of that, you know, the underbelly, overbelly, colour thing, whatever. It is what it is, yeah? But at the same time, on the pitch, that guy was mustard, bro. And he scored us that goal to get us one ahead in that Champions League final as well, bro. He delivered, bro, for us.
And just really quickly before you...
And for me... Sorry, Gemma, just very quickly before you... Him and Nesta was my dream centre-back combination that I wanted in the 03-04 season, especially.
That would have been...
If we had that combination, I think we would have done enough to at least get to a Champions League final. Definitely a semi. Do you know what I'm saying? Nesta would have got us over the edge in it, because as much as I love and rate Kolo Touré, and he was obviously in mind, for me, Sol Campbell is just an out-and-out centre-back. Just better. He's just better. Like, Kolo Touré does a lot of things well, but for me, Kolo Touré is like, sometimes he's unbelievable. Other times he can cost you one too many times. But we love him. We love him. He is what he's kind of like a cult hero-ish in a way. But at the same time, Sol Campbell, other than Tony Adams, of course, there's no comparison in it. And for me, as a defender, he's better than Martin Keown as well. I don't care what anyone says. Like, even as an out-and-out defender. Like, I'm not even basing this on Martin Keown as how he's been for the past 10 years, like being on media circles and trying to sell his bullshit book and all of that. No, I'm not even putting that in mind. Just as an out-and-out centre-back, like, I'd rather have
to answer RSV on this. Who are you putting as your top three centre-backs in EPL history? And right before you do this, I'm sorry, RSV, you're 100% wrong on this one.
No, I disagree with that as well.
Chiellini was class. Again, you're going again. I don't.
He made the difference for Italy in the Euros final as well. I'm not saying he was the only one, but he had a massive part to play.
Massive
getting
part,
over the line.
Massive part to play. He's a better leader than some of the guys that you talked about as far as who you were putting. I'm just a random question, RSV, for you is how old are you, as far as the question for that, and again, because this is like a situation where we agree to disagree, because some of the guys that you're putting in there, I'm looking at it more as you're looking at this all about pace. But again, guys can have pace, but if you can't read the game, you're kind of useless at that point. Because we've seen so many guys that are good with pace as center backs completely miss the plot and end up costing their teams. But for you, Natster, real quick, who are your top three EPL center backs of all time?
I'm going to start with Tony Adams. Personally, I saw him very, very late, but even then, class. Do you know what I'm saying? I know the history. I know the heritage of Arsenal Football Club. More than people would think. Nowhere near as much as Jez and Kenny Ken, DJB, etc. Right. I want to make that very, very crystal clear. But I know how great Tony Adams was in it. He's up there. For me, I would... I put John Terry up there as well. In terms of partnerships, they'd be the best two for me. Tony Adams and John Terry, they're the best two, not just as a partnership, but as like centre backs in the Premier League. And the last one, I would actually go with Jaap Stam, but I didn't see him in the Premier League. I saw him later when he was at Milan, and even then he was fucking mustard. Do you know what I'm saying? He was pure class. Absolute nutcase, but as a defender, you can't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's other options, but for me, like, I would give an honourable mention to Sol Campbell, but outside of him and a few others, for me personally, I would go with Jaap Stam in it. But Tony Adams and John Terry are the main two. And on that bombshell, I'm just going to top up my
Go ahead.
I will be back in a minute.
So for me, I'm going to go with Tony Adams. I'm going to go with John Terry. And to be honest with you, historically speaking, for me, I'm going to go with Alan Hansen. For me, is the third best center back. Alan Hansen was an unbelievable center back and was a key cornerstone to Liverpool. And people can say whatever they want about, oh, you love all the older football and everything else. Alan Hansen, to me, if he's not the center back for that old school Liverpool team, they don't have as many titles. I think Alan Hansen was absolutely fantastic. Another guy who gets a shout, who could be thrown into this argument as well, and big up Wahaha for saying this, I think is also Ricardo Carvalho. I think a lot of people forget how good Ricardo Carvalho was with
100%
with Chelsea and how important he was. But for me, Tony Adams might be the greatest. Tony Adams and Alan Hansen for me are the two best center backs of all time in the Premier League for me. And I think John Terry's number 3.
So basically Premier League / Division 1, innit? I know that's more Alan Hansen with Division 1, but I know what you mean. Yeah, best in the English league. Yeah.
Hansen has the trophy Hansen is the trophy cabinet that most people cannot compare to. And just for another shout out as well, to go even further back, a lot of people forget about him, and they should do their research on him. Bobby Moore is another one. As far as historical great center backs in the time frame of the League One and Premier League, Bobby Moore is another one for me. But Alan Hansen and Tony Adams for me are the two guys that slug it out for the best.
Shout out to Terry Butcher as well with the head bandage. I know it's before my time. So to be fair, he was a good centre back as well. I'm not going to put him in the goal, but he was solid. He done the business. He put his head where it hurts. Very traditional. Do you know what I mean? But look, Alan Hansen and Tony Adams, Nestor and Campbell. Hey, it's looking good, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can't really argue with either. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. So this is an interesting. So you got Seaman in net, Marcelo left back, Nestor Campbell is the center backs, and Danny Alves is right back. That's a good fucking back.
Attacking, bruv, but solid where it needs to be. We got them foundations, bruv. We're building that dream house. Whether it's for me, I would say more of a castle than a mansion. I'm very not traditional, but I'm old school in it. Like I'm kind of. I don't know if you've seen the movie, or even the TV series, The Gentleman.
Yes. Yeah.
If you've seen either one of them or both, and chat, if you haven't seen it, whether you smoke ganja or not, watch it. It's classic. Guy Ritchie, he does a great job on that. I have to be honest. Great film and great show as well. I want to see a series. And all that.
For me, my two center backs, because this has been, this is the thing. Everybody gets to do an 11. I got to come up with a new 11.
Yeah.
So my 11 for this team that I put together, I'm going to go with Carlos Puyol as one of them. I think Carlos Puyol gets highly slept on. I think the guy, at a time when Spanish football, before the big break where they started winning everything, and a lot of people used to say the Spanish were a little bit too pretty and not enough grit to their game for them to be able to go on and win. Puyol had the grit. Carlos Puyol for me I think is in that same category as the Nestas of this world. In my opinion, he was the leader that really stamped that Barcelona team, both through the Rijkaard years and into the Pep years. So I'm going to have Carlos Puyol as one. And then the other one is for me, old school guy, was huge for the old Lazio team. As a part of that run that they had, I went with Sinisa Mihajlovic. I think Mihajlovic often gets forgotten about as a good defender because originally he was a forward and he was converted back to a center back because of his ability to put the ball over the top, much like people would see with Leonardo Bonucci, the way he would put the ball up the top for Juventus over the years. But if anybody's
like that just absolute
all over the place. And if you've never seen it,
all of that,
If you haven't seen it, for me, go watch Sinisa Mihajlovic's game where he scored a hat trick as a center back scoring free kicks.
A free kick hat trick, bro. That's unheard of.
He is a free.
That's unruly, bro. That's on. Jesus, unseen, unheard, unruly, on all the rest.
When we talk about the greatest free kick takers of all time, yes, we know Pirlo. Yes, we know Juninho. Yes, if you don't know him, go watch Nakamura from Celtic, the left-footed Japanese number 10 that Celtic had for a while. Was a fantastic free kick taker. Vincent Mihajlovic is right up there with those guys as far as a free kick taker, and he was a center back.
Regino Chini as well, you know, the Brazilian goalkeeper. Yep. He was another free kick specialist as well. I'm not going to lie, I've seen a few of them. You know what I'm saying? It is what the game's the game, bro. Yeah. You're going with Carlos Pio and
Mihajlovic. Mihajlovic is my two center backs.
Yeah, Mihajlovic and
I'm going with the four.
Fernando Herrero to be like if you're going Spanish.
Yeah, he's saved for another team. He's saved
for another team.
Tactics.
You must believe.
Abdul, no, it's not all time. It's who you would pay to see. If you could pay to see,
you got to save some in the chamber. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got to have a few extra clips in the chamber, as we all know, bro.
No, Abdul, it's not great as 2010s or 2020s. It's an 11. It's a set of 11 players throughout the history of the game. If you could pay money to see an 11 play together, who would it be? You don't have to pick the greatest of all times. We can pick players. You can pick players that are should-have-beens, guys who had a great talent but never lived up to the talent for whatever reason, guys who were great, or guys that you personally thought were good players but are often disrespected. This is an open forum for this. This doesn't have to be the greatest 11 of all time, because then it turns into a whole mess when it comes into that. But it's 11 that you would pick. So yeah, my back line is Zanetti at right back, Mihajlovic at center back, Puyol is center back, and Capdevila is left back. Yeah. I've gone with Francesco Toldo as the goalkeeper for this team.
Goalkeeper, solid, absolute solid. Yeah.
So
considering this is this your third one that you've done?
Because this is my third team that I've done.
And Aaron, yeah.
Taryn, you, and Aaron are the three guys so far. I got DJB coming. Yeah. I believe either this Sunday or next Thursday. Shane Gooner is coming this coming Tuesday. What's it? Kenny Ken, the encyclopedia, has agreed. We just have to work out a day. And Guns has also agreed. We just need to work out a day with him as well. So
very interesting that one. Yeah. Because
Wahaha knows what he's talking about. Mihajlovic, definitely top 3 free kickers of all time in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
See Roberto Carlos, Maldini, Ramos, and Rivaldo. Rivaldo was a forward, but I hear it. It's part of your 11. Yeah, no, brother. Again, this is what this is all about. Everybody has their say. You can choose whichever 11 you want. There's no, obviously people are going to have discussions of who they think is better because we all have opinions. But again, it's your 11. You can choose whoever you want. I can tell you this. Rivaldo is, I think, another one of those players like Clarence Seedorf that does not get the respect he deserves, in my opinion.
Nowhere near. Rivaldo
was a bad man.
He was exquisite, bro. Unbelievable footballer, man.
So now going into the midfield, I've gone for a 4-4-2 as well. For me, so I've gone Arsenal here for my wingers. I'm not gonna lie. I went Arsenal for my wingers.
I hear it. We've had great.
I went with Robert Pires on the left.
Of course.
And I went with Mark Overmars on the right.
Yeah.
I wanted to show Arsenal some love because I haven't shown Arsenal some love in the other two teams that I made like that. Although the team that I put together when I was doing it with Tara, and I put Liam Brady as my number 10 in that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've gone with Mark Overmars and Pires. Listen, for me, I think Robert Pires, again, another guy who's in that same situation with Seedorf, Mihajlovic, Rivaldo. A lot of people forget. For me, I think for a good two to maybe 3 years, Robert Pires was the best winger in football.
100%.
For me, Robert Pires is one of the players that I think shows why the modern game is not as good as the older, because Robert Pires defines what a footballer was. Whatever Robert Pires could do on his right foot, he could do on his left foot. the man, and same thing for Mark Overmars too. Overmars is no slouch, but for me, I don't.
He was a lot quicker, but he still had the tech. He was still cross the ball. He was more direct, but he was sensational. Both of them were like,
Pires for me, in a lot of ways, maybe people think I'm crazy. Robert Pires was the Eden Hazard before Eden Hazard. Quick ability to move the ball with both feet, could dribble you with his eyes closed, to be honest with you.
Some of his goals were insane, bro. Do you remember that one against Villa in the double winning season? I think it was not too long before he got injured.
Yeah, it was like what 3 4.
He lobbed Schmeichel in it because Schmeichel was at Villa at the time, innit? He went past J. Lloyd Samuel, RIP to J. Lloyd, innit? And he wasn't too bad of a centre back. He was decent. Like he wasn't. I know he made the odd mistakes, but like. The reason why I bring it up just very quickly because J. Lloyd Samuel, it was sad what happened to him, innit? Like he won't be seen as like top tier. He was never that. Let's be honest. But at the same time, the way his life went, it was sad. I saw the clips, with his missus and all that. They had a nice family, good guy from what I hear. So, but yeah, like Pires still skinned him, and then the way he lobbed Peter Schmeichel, I don't care if it was 40-year-old Schmeichel. It could have been 60-year-old Schmeichel. Like, it is what it is. You still have to do it, innit? Like, Bobby Pires, bruv, like, he's one of the best wide players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's right up there. Up there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that guy could do everything. Before Santi Cazorla, granted, Santi Cazorla was more in the middle. I know there were times he was playing or drifting on the left and all of that, even on the right at times. Two-footed, as we know. We've had a few in it, but Bobby Pires, like, absolute must. I know that's an old school like English saying, but I love it. I love it. Do you know what I'm saying? 4-4 fucking 2.
I went with Overmars and Pires. Who are you going with your two wingers for your ultra attack and 4-4-2 that you got?
You know what? I love the midfield, more so central, but we will get to that, and you'll be very intrigued to see my picks. But do you know, I'm going to start with a more like seasoned. He's a World Cup winner, absolute fucking baller. World Cup, I said World Cup winner. World record transfer holder. World record transfer at one point in time. Played for Real Betis. Denilson, bro. And the most I saw of him was that 2 World Cup. That guy could do everything with a football. Before Ronaldinho was prime time goated, Denilson on that left predominantly, and in that World Cup, he was probably their best player, if not one of their best players. Let's be real. Because Ronaldinho came back from a suspension. Obviously, Rivaldo was doing bits. Ronaldo gets the headlines, rightly so, innit? But what Denilson did in that final, carved the Germans to pieces, bro. Carved them to pieces. And to be honest, he would have done that against anyone. I would go as far as say, you'll probably disagree with this, Gianni. I know you guys got robbed in that tournament.
Yeah.
The fucking Koreans. And I don't hate the Koreans, by the way. It's not a stab at them. I'm talking about the governing body in it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? We know what they did. We know why they did it. I can't remember. It was this famous Italian chef in it where he was like, certain man, if they came to their restaurant, do you know what I'm saying, going to be more than treated unpleasantly. Do you know what I'm saying?
Brother, funny story. The Korean guy that was on Juventus, was he on Juventus? Yeah. He had to leave Italy.
Was it Perugia? Was he at Perugia? Perugia.
Might have been Perugia, yeah.
I can't remember his name, but I remember.
No, you know what? He was at Perugia. I believe he was going to Juventus. He was getting looked at to go to Juventus. And before the transfer went through, he ended up he what's it called? He was going to go to Juventus and he stopped and he ended up forcing his way out of Italy because of all everything as far as from that.
He had to flee. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember his name, bro. But either way,
I don't remember the guy's name either. But no, I hear Denilson's
carved open Italy, to be honest. Like not as much, anywhere near as much as the Germans, but I think he still would have done because he was that good. That's my point here. Like,
listen, I think if Italy was
unbelievable.
I think if Italy I honestly think if Italy played Brazil in 2002, I still don't know if we would have won. But I think we would have had a heck of an opportunity because, like I said,
you would have played a lot better. You would have been much, much better than the Germans.
In my personal opinion, I think the 2002 team, because of the robbery with Korea, even more so. But if you go player for player, the 02 team was the best Italy team that there was in that period after they lost from 1980, after we won in 1982, going all the way to 2006. I thought 2002 was the best team because it was a blend of the old guard that wowed everybody throughout the play of the old City A in the 90s, and the 90 team that made it to the semis, and the 94 that made it to the finals and lost with Rathead.
You guys came to play ball. It wasn't just like defensive masterclass. You actually, against Korea, I remember that game very briefly. You tried to play ball, and Gus Hiddink, with his most shithousery performance as a manager, with them playing. Yeah, they had a few good players. Was it part and all of that? Don't get me wrong. And that guy that was playing at Perugia at the time, they weren't bad, but they weren't Italy. Do you know what I'm saying? They weren't at that level. It was the first time they ever hosted a tournament along with Japan.
And not only that, what a lot of people forget is, yeah, but the other thing is, though, when you look at what's it called? I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now, but I think he's a little bit overrated. Baggio being gone, everybody was like, oh, what's Italy going to do? But at the same time, now all of a sudden, Christian Vieri, Del Piero, and Totti come walking along, and that's our new front three. You still had Paolo Maldini. You still had Costa Curta. You had Gianluca Zambrotta coming up as a youngster as well. That was on that.
Ferreira. Did you have Ferreira in that squad as well?
Yeah, Ciro Ferrara was still a part of that.
Yeah, Ferrara. Yeah.
So we had a good mix of the new guys with the old guard. It was what it was with that situation. But okay, so you got Denilson as the left. Who you going with your right winger?
Now the right one, a lot of people are going to be shocked with this, but you'll understand, Johnny. The real ones will know.
Big up,
very highly underrated. Never got an opportunity to play for a big club. Let's be honest, but technically he could do everything with a football. He played for Palace. For me, Yannick Bolasie, he's one of those streets we'll never forget. I was going to have one of them. I was going to pick one of them at least, because not the only other option, the only one that I really had in mind was Hatem Ben Arfa. He was very, very
good. He was different.
Maybe for another day I might pick him, spoiler alert, whatever. Might do that a few months after, hoping people forget and all of that. But, hindsight, it's one of them ones, and it is what it is. But for me, Yannick Bolasie, I don't care what anyone says. He could play on the left as well.
Yeah.
He was that good. But what I saw him do in the Premier League, and it's a shame because he's got his own skill move as well. I don't care if it's like memed or viral or whatever. For me, he could do everything with a football. He's a pure street footballer.
Yeah.
But because of the way the Premier League is marketed, and it's P&P, pace and power over everything. But the thing is with Bolasie, he wasn't a slouch. He wasn't super quick, but he was strong, but technically next level. Do you know what I'm saying? Next level. Because obviously Ben Arfa was technically gifted, like unbelievable, but he wasn't super strong, but he wasn't that quick either. He was just quick enough, innit? But technically he was class. Another one streets will never forget, Adel Taarabt. I know he was more in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes you saw him on the right, a bit more on the left. Do you know what I'm saying? He was another one I had in mind. But for me, I went far right, if you can't, do you know what I'm saying? Far right. If you know, But to be honest, I had to pick a streets we'll never forget. I had to pick a pure street baller in it. That if he had the opportunity to even Wilfried Zaha as a very slight honourable mention, because for all his antics or whatever, he's another one. But for me, Yannick Bolasie was technically better. For me, Yannick Bolasie was technically better than Wilfried Zaha. The difference is Zaha got his opportunity at Man United, but because he was banging what's his face, David Moyes' daughter, Ginger Princess and all of that shit, it kind of fucked his chances at the time. If he hung in there at like maybe another season or two, Wilfried Zaha, you never know, innit? But Yannick Bolasie never got that opportunity, and part of that, no, it's not an underbelly colour thing. For me, it's more a case of he was way too raw for football at that time period, even more so than a Adel Taarabt and a Hatem Ben Arfa. You know, he wasn't, you know, polished in the way that he was in terms of like his personality, his character, his aura. He has all the tech of them guys, debatably more. You could pick either one of them three. Do you know what I mean? But what he was doing, he was fake handballing it and then going past Lovren like he wasn't there. Now, granted, Lovren ain't the best centre back even at that time. Of course he wasn't. Yeah. But, you know, it's still Liverpool, isn't it? He still went past, do you know what I'm saying? And he was, what he did to Christian Eriksen, this is the thing. I rate Christian Eriksen, innit? You know, I wanted him over Mesut Ozil. I'm going to be real. As much as I rate Mesut Ozil technically,
that's a shot.
At that time, I wanted Christian Eriksen because I was seeing what he was doing at Ajax. You know, the scoop, his that was his go-to move, but it was so effective. Do you know what I'm saying? And he did it in that game. But it was after Yannick Bolasie did his own flick straight off the concrete jungle, yeah? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely schooled him, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was playing for Palace, bruv. If he was at Arsenal, bruv, Arsene Wenger, yeah, he would have had a field day with us. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Imagine Alexis Sanchez on the left and him on the right, or vice versa, innit? Yeah. Yannick Bolasie would have done bits for us, innit? We wanted Wilfried Zaha at one point, but he had injuries as well, Yannick Bolasie, and all of that. You know, because he was a big guy, 6 foot as well.
Yeah. Strong,
very strong, and he had good pace as well. He wasn't lightning quick by any means, but he had unbelievable techniques, right? It's just a shame that he never got an opportunity at the highest level. So another, you know, I had to go with one street baller, the one that the streets will never forget. The real ones know, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Cult hero in a way. You know, he's kind of in that mold of like in a way of a Matt Letizia in terms of like not in terms of like he's been at just one club and one club only. I'm talking like he doesn't have the allocades to back up his mesmeric ability. Do you know what I'm saying? His like unbelievable technical superiority, ball manipulation, and all of that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to check the chat in a second, but for me, I'm going with Yannick Bolasie, and for all intents and purposes, Gianni, you kind of hear it with what I'm saying. Like, and I'm interested to see what you're going with the centre mids. But yeah, Yannick Bolasie, a lot of you didn't think I would pick him. Maybe you thought a Hatem Ben Arfa, maybe an Adel Taarabt and all of that. Ravel Morrison, I have to say, is another one. Unbelievable footballer, but again, mentally, it just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for me, Yannick Bolasie, yeah.
I just want to touch this real quick, and then I got
to
take a phone call real quick, so I'll let you go on.
No worries, brother.
Who are your two center midfield pairings? And before we do that, Quaj, I have to humbly disagree with you. Karim Benzema is not overrated. It was Benzema did what was right for the team to allow Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale to flourish the way that they did in that time period with Real Madrid. But if you go back to Benzema at Lyon, Benzema was an absolute killer. They never replaced him, which is why Lyon fell out of being the team that it was. Obviously, PSG got the money on top of it, and there was mismanagement of funds with Lyon. But for me, Karim Benzema is nowhere near overrated. In fact, I think Karim Benzema is a little bit underrated. I think he's much better than what a lot of people go with. But who's your center midfield pairing, brother? And I'm going to turn this one over to you.
Yeah, no worries, brother. This was my problem position, but I'm going to go with the one that I didn't have any issues with picking. On the right-hand side, right centre mid, you know, going with the 4-4-2 chicken and chip settings with a little bit of space. Do you know what I'm saying, bruv? If you know, you know, yeah? Like, I'm going with Paul Pogba, bruv. Had it all, bruv. 6'3", sensational tech, like unbelievable with ball manipulation. He was an incredible athlete on top of that. Never got to the heights that he should have got. He was successful, but he should have won more. For me, the thing is with Paul Pogba, he could do everything with the football, super strong, you know, deceptively quick as well, like not as immobile as people would think. Like he's actually got great agility for a man of his size as well. That coincides with that flair, that technique, and he's got the charisma, character. He's got the aura, the vibes. Chilled out guy for days, and he ain't no punk bitch as well. Do you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like family issues and all of that. Had his injuries. Truth of the matter is, with Paul Pogba, yeah, he should have gone to Real Madrid instead of going back to Man United. If he went to Real Madrid, he not only would have won the Champions League, he would have balled out, bro. He would have balled out at Real Madrid. He would have set Madrid alight, bro. And when Gianni gets back, yeah, I'm gonna bring that up to him because like he's for me phenomenal. You know, there is an argument to say he was a wasted talent. I could kind of agree with that, but not in the way of like a Neymar and certain others. Do you know what I mean? Big up Quaja. I'm gonna answer your question that you put in the chat earlier. You think Neymar is the third best player of our generation in the Messi? For me, Cristiano Ronaldo ain't it for me. Do you know what I'm saying? He was a great player, but mad overrated, bro. For me, Cristiano as a goal scorer, the numbers is unbelievable, but as a footballer, as technical ability, ball manipulation, and all that, the way I like to see football being played, like. For me, Cristiano doesn't do it for me. Everyone knows Leo Messi is my GOAT and all of that. But I would put Neymar in terms of ability above Cristiano. I know that will sound controversial to a lot of people, but I don't care what anyone says. But for me, I would pay to watch Neymar all day long over Cristiano, especially the last like 10 years or so. The best Cristiano was 04. Well, the best Cristiano was 04, 06 for me personally. That when Cristiano was a winger, he was amazing. He was a joy to watch. I'm not gonna lie. But after that, when he got his Real Madrid move, it just didn't quite hit it. You know, he knew he had to compete with Leo Messi with goals. You know what I'm saying? Because he was never going to beat him technically. Just to answer your question, Quadra. But going back to the Paul Pogba, that was my pick, Johnny. I don't know if you heard.
You had Pogba and who else?
I'm kind of torn between two players in the midfield. You know, I'm doing the total football scintillating Joga Benito. So it's a very attacking midfield. Like Paul Pogba is kind of more he can defend, but he's way more potent going forward and all of that shit, you know, as we know. You saw what he done at Juve, bro. And for me, he should have gone to Real Madrid. Like I said, Paul Pogba, I'll just say to you, like, since you're here, before I go on to my next pick in midfield, Paul Pogba should have definitely gone to Real Madrid instead of going back to Man United. Because not only would he have won the Champions League along with the World Cup, I think he would have set it alight for me. You could class him as a wasted talent, but for me, he had everything. 6'3", absolute unit, you know, agile for his size, deceptively quick, could do everything with the football. Like, you could question his mentality. I hear it. You know, but
see, that's the thing. I disagree with that.
I love Paul Pogba. I'm not.
I love Pogba too, but I don't think it's a mentality issue. To be quite honest with you, I think it's the fact that he's a player. Paul Pogba. This is going to be funny. Paul Pogba is the modern day version of what Veron was when Veron went to Manchester United. He didn't fit the mold of how they played, and it was the same thing with Paul Pogba. What everybody forgets about Paul Pogba with Juventus was Pogba had Pirlo and had Claudio Marchisio around him as well, which was allowing him to flourish as the more offensive player going forward. The problem was the way that Pogba was used as the situation in Manchester United. It was never going to work because he couldn't play that way.
Yeah, he wasn't a DM. He wasn't a double pivot. They Ole Gunnar Solskjaer literally saw him as Patrick Vieira. You know,
and that wasn't him. And it's never going to happen in France.
He was more than Abu Diaby. Let's be real. He's that after Abu Diaby if he hadn't got injured as many times.
See, I disagree with that. I think Paul Pogba. In my personal opinion,
Diaby higher.
Like, I think Paul Pogba is more of a Yaya Toure, if I'm being quite honest with you. But on the offensive side going forward, defensively, a lot of people forget. Paul Pogba was not that good defensively. He had a lot of hard workers around him that made him look better to where he could get onto the open balls. but Pogba could get beat on a one-on-one. The problem was Pogba was so smooth on the ball that he just made it look easy, that after he would get on top of the ball and take off, that people were more wowed at his offensive capabilities. Because when you look at him with France, France played a 4-2-3-1 when they won, but the thing was he was able to get more forward because you had N'Golo Kante running around like a madman winning the ball back, similar to what you saw with Marquisio and oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. The Chilean Mohawk.
Oh, Vidal, bro. Vidal
was on that team as well.
Yeah,
Vidal was in that team as well. So
I hear it, bro. I hear it. The reason why I bring up Abu Diaby, the only reason why I hear the Yaya Toure comparison, I would use that as well. But the reason why I will stick with Abu Diaby is because Abu Diaby is more going forward. Now, I would say that Abu Diaby is better defensively than Paul Pogba. I'd agree with that.
Absolutely.
But the way they move the ball, do you know what I'm saying? The way they glide across the pitch, and Yaya Toure did the same as well. Don't get me wrong; they're all very similar players going forward. The only difference is Diaby and Yaya Toure, especially because of the time at Barcelona where he was playing at centre back. Why? Because Pep, does Pep fit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, were defensively better than Paul Pogba. I hear it. Paul Pogba wasn't the greatest defensively, but you know what team I'm going for, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like the way that I'm playing, and for me, Paul Pogba should have been the best midfielder of our generation. Like, people laud up KDB, and I rate KDB, but for me personally, out of them two, I know they're not the same type of player because KDB would drift more to the right and all of that. He's got the finish, but so does Pogba. Like, and then the set pieces and that, more so the crossing and the passing to a degree. But Paul Pogba could do all of that. He could cross a ball. He could spray the diags for days, bro. Like, for me, Paul Pogba is a better midfielder and should have been generational. But again, like, he had a few injuries. Obviously, he had the drug ban later on, family issues I mentioned earlier. Like, there was a lot of things that went against him. But I still think that if he'd have gone to Real Madrid, they would have utilised him better than Man United. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Mourinho thought he was getting a polished John Obi Mikel. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then obviously with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he saw him as like a Patrick Vieira. He's not them types of players. And John Obi Mikel was a good player, but Paul Pogba ain't that. He was never that. Like you mentioned when he was at Juve, he was never that type of player. Yeah. And the way his career's gone is sad. I would argue it's sadder than Neymar, because at least with Neymar had the accolades and he had it all. He just didn't do what was required to be considered generational and arguably one of the greatest ever. Whereas Paul Pogba in that midfield has the ability, or had the ability, because he's still playing, so has, but like, certain decisions, certain things not going his way. But look, that's just me, just from my perspective. He's one of my favorite players of this era. Do you know what I'm saying? Who's coming towards an end, and it's sad. It also reminds me of like the James Rodriguez, the Christian Eriksen's, the Mesut Ozils, where that type of player is dying out, bro. Abu Diaby with the horrific injury record and that. Like, it's sad. It really is sad.
So for me, and this is interesting when he says, who's the biggest waste of talent ever? For me, I think it's Neymar. I think Neymar is the biggest waste of talent. I'm sorry. You left Lionel Messi and Suarez to go on your own. Granted, your stats were great, but at the same time, here's the problem that everybody likes to gloss over with Neymar. He wasn't playing in the Ligue 1 of the previous generation where Marseille had a good team every single year, and he never went against that unbelievable Lyon team.
Lyon was ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
And the thing is that the bigger problem with Neymar and PSG at that time as a whole was every single time a mediocre to good team popped up in Ligue 1, you bottled the league. Now, granted, Monaco stumbled across a gem called Kylian Mbappe, but a 16, 17-year-old should not be outdoing you if you're leaving Barcelona for that amount of money, the amount of money that you were getting paid, and you were going to France to further your career. Because let's be honest, Ligue 1 fell off a cliff the hardest out of any of the leagues how the money changed when it came to football. So for me, I think Neymar is one of the biggest wasted talents.
And to be honest, Kylian Mbappe, that 16, 17, 18-year-old Kylian Mbappe was the best version. Like, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be real, yeah.
It can be argued, yeah. It could definitely
He is mad overrated for what he's being propped up in recent times. But the 18, 17-year-old Kylian Mbappe was something else, bro.
Yeah, him and Radamel Falcao
at Monaco, he was ridiculous, bro. But then he went to PSG, and then a lot of things got to his head, and it's a shame. He wasn't
Neymar got to his head. He saw what Neymar did. You know, he's looking at Neymar from the perspective of, okay, well, you got injured in the World Cup, and if we're keeping it all the way 100 here, Brazil should have never got that far. Brazil robbed Colombia in that quarterfinal matchup. Brazil only got there because the referees were trying to aid the team in going as far as possible. And then
was that the game where Neymar was doing them like multiple rolls in it on the touch?
Yeah, it was also the game where Zuniga came up and kneed him in the back, and I guess
you're talking about that one. No, I was thinking of like the 2018 World Cup where he's because the 2014 one, like Brazil, like, and then that
was when Brazil got smashed by Germany in the semifinal.
They've never been the same. They haven't recovered still from that. I'm gonna be real. They've never recovered.
Yeah, so for me, Neymar is one of those who gets up there for the biggest waste of talent. Yes, he put up a lot of stats in France, fantastic, and he did great with an unbelievable Barcelona team. But if you're looking at the longevity, where he was at with Santos and Barcelona, and then what he should have been when he went to PSG, he was part of the overall problem with that PSG generation, because it was basically the player talent and the player power was more powerful than any of the managers, and they ultimately didn't win anything. I mean, let's be honest here. Neymar was so appalling. Especially when Lille won the Ligue 1 with Galtier as the manager. They had to go get fucking Messi in order for them to reclaim a Ligue 1 title. And again, this is not Ligue 1 of the 2000s. This is the Ligue 1 of the 2010s, 2020s that is many a mile behind the old Ligue 1 that was of the early 2000s. So Neymar is definitely up there for me as one of the biggest.
If Neymar went to the Premier League, he would definitely be a bit more respected, but in terms of how well he would do, like, because I see just before I go on to my other centre mid pick, depending on what team he went to, like, I think he would, because the whole argument of like, would Mahrez have done well in that Barca team? Of course he would have done. But I think if you put Neymar in that Leicester team, for me personally anyway, he would have killed it because of the manager that was there that would have allowed him to do what he wanted, didn't it? Like, remember, what's his face? Claudio Ranieri is an old school manager. He was, at that time, he was the Tinker Man. But if he allowed to do what Mahrez did, you think he's not doing that for Neymar, bro? And for me personally, as much as I rate Riyad Mahrez super duper highly, he was technically, his first touch, unbelievable, mesmeric, quality, unbelievable. But what Neymar has is it's just something else. It's just different. But I hear the wasted talent argument. I really do, because he was meant to be not just the greatest of his era, he was meant to be the greatest of all time. He was meant to take over the Ronaldinhos and the Pele.
See, for me, that's
the Mario, etc. Like,
that's the reason why I think it adds to the overall to why I think he's there, is because all we heard in the early days about him was, this is the next Ronaldinho. You know, even for those who remember how good he was before he became an idiot and got arrested and did time, Robinho was a fucking unbelievable.
Robinho was one of my. I thought about Robinho for the left mid, because Robinho, Real Madrid. But even at Man City, he done bits. He done
even
bits
at Milan.
He was sensational.
Yeah,
he was crazy, and the ball manipulation, the touch, the finish, and for a man of that size, he's smaller than me, bro. Not just in size, but in height. I think he's like 5'8". I'm like 5'10", bro. That guy was stronger than he looked as well. So it was no coincidence why, considering it was an early development City team before they went on to win the FA Cup and then the league, and then they dominated, you know what I'm saying, with the Yayas, the David Silvas, the Sergio Agueros, etc. It's like, and then he done them fuckeries, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Robinho was definitely considered as a footballer, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. But I'll go on to
who's your other? That's the amazing thing about this. When we start talking about players, you can just go off.
Yeah. No,
So who you got as your other center mid with Pogba? Because I'm interested to see this now with Total Football. You got to have some defensive-minded midfielder at least.
I'm gonna put you out of your misery, Gianni. Nah, not for me, bro. Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me. And but because like I'm of that mindset where it's just like we're gonna do what we did the good old days with Arsene Wenger. It just shows our age and just like where we're at now. 2026, modern football is diabolical, bruv. Like, but with the team that I've got, bruv, it's literally one of those like 3-4-0 before half time. And then if we leak a few goals, it is what it is. But with my defense, I'm calm in it. You know, they could throw the kitchen sink, they'll deal with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Even Marcelo and Dani Alves won't be disturbed, let's just say, too much at the back, for the most part anyway. And then obviously you've got David Seaman in there as well,
right,
who pulls out worldies and shit. So I had a lot of thought. There's obviously Paul Scholes'. There's Juan Veron you mentioned. I thought of Santi Cazorla, Cesc Fabregas. Even today, like with a Pedri, if it wasn't for Gavi falling off, like we all knew he fucking would, because he ain't that fucking good. Pedri, for me, as a modern day footballer, is class, bruv. He's a breath of fresh air, innit? In that midfield, like what he does. Yeah. And I would even argue, Nico Barella as well, mad underrated and underappreciated and underlooked as well, considering, what he does in that midfield. You know, you got the Gundogan as well, who I rated from Dortmund days, bruv. Dortmund. You got Schweinsteiger. Do you know what I'm saying? Tony Kroos. Like, there's so many
people forget Schweinsteiger, man. A lot of people forget how cold he was.
He started out as a winger, bruv. He started out as a winger. A lot of people don't realise that. And I could have gone with a Schweinsteiger, Tony Kroos, and all that were better defensively. Do you know what I'm saying? I could have gone with that easily. And I would pay to watch them. But then I'm looking at these other players, and I mentioned it before we went live, innit? One that I really want to put into this team, and do you know what? It might even be a case that I might have to put it up to a vote in the chat. Do you know what I'm saying? Or I might need a little assistance from your good self, Sir Gianni, as well. Guti. Let's just kick it off with Guti.
Wow, you really are going no deep,
bro. One of the most underrated players I have ever seen in my fucking life. Yeah.
Agreed.
Midfielder, maestro, bro. Yeah. I don't care if he doesn't have a right foot. We can talk about Iron Robin, who I thought of, but again, maybe another time on another street, even on my own. Like, I might do a video myself where he'll definitely be in there or thereabouts. Do you know what I'm saying? But Guti, for me, what he did for Real Madrid and the fact that he was there for so long as well. There's a reason why he stayed there for so long, just like Karim Benzema, which is why both of them are not overrated, especially Guti. Like Guti, mad underrated.
Guti's underrated.
But because you have like Zizou, you have Luis Figo, obviously you had Robinho at one point, Raul, Ronaldo, the real one, not fucking CRY7, bruv, that's crushing out sensationally in phenomenal form. Do you know what I'm saying? Striking in the Saudi league, bruv, going on strike in the Saudi league. Like, once you get your 1,000 goals after the World Cup, you better fuck off, bruv. Yeah, because all that money, get the fuck out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I digress on that. And and then you got obviously like the likes of Ivan Helguera and that, who I thought for me personally was underrated as a centre back. Played for Valencia as well. Obviously, you've got the Sergio Ramos, who he is what he is. Do you know what I'm saying? And then obviously the Carvajals we mentioned earlier, Marcelo, who's obviously in my pick, Roberto Carlos, of course, and no Thomas Gravison. I want to make that very crystal clear, innit? That fucking lunatic. Do you know what I mean, bro? How that guy got to Real Madrid mystifies me to this day, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And they even had at one point Fabio Capello, if you'll definitely remember, but even the chat, Emerson and Mohamed Diarra, bro. They were solid. They massively helped win them the league with Bex, of course, as well. And you know, you had Ruud van Nistelrooy there. He did well at Real Madrid for a little bit. Like, it is what it is. But Guti, man, I am. He would probably be in there in terms of players I would love to watch, and he would complement Paul Pogba very, very well. Bro,
Yeah.
yes, it's super attacking. I know
Yeah.
it's not what you would usually go for. And to be honest, mate, like on another day, if I was feeling a bit more like going like, well, if we want to win the lot, you'd have to have like a Schweinsteiger or a Tony Cruz to balance it out a bit. I hear it, bruv. I hear it.
Mhm.
But when it comes, if it's especially a one-off game or in the final, like pure, total, scintillating Joga Bonito, like Guti's up there. And if it wasn't for this particular guy, he would be my pick. I have to give a mad shout out to one Roman Riquelme, bruv. What that guy could do with the football, bruv. Beggars belief. Best believe that. Back once again for the Renegade Master, Default Damager, and all of them ones there, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? No, Drenthe, Gravison, hell no, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? Riquelme, bruv. And even the clip I was seeing when he was at Boca Juniors before he made his move to, I think it was Barca for a little bit, and then he went to Villarreal. Like, Riquelme, bruv, the skills.
That's who Taryn had at his as a part of his midfield three. He picked.
Do you know what? Since I'm glad you told me that, Gianni. I will go with Guti, but I have to mention Riquelme, bruv. Because Riquelme, bruv, like he doesn't get the plaudits that he deserves, not just for Argentina, but just for world football. Period. Like obviously before him, you had Veron and that, but he was mad techie, but. Riquelme, bro, he could do the lot as a number 10. And again, part of that dying breed, he left during his kind of just past his peak, late noughties and all of that, going into the 10s and that, like 2010s. Again, it's sad. Another option I thought of is obviously Juninho from Lyon. He was another pick, obviously, like free kicks were penalties, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was a fucking baller, of course.
Yeah.
And obviously, not obviously, but another one I thought of is another Brazilian, Diego.
Ribas? That was my boy.
And he played for Atletico and he won them the Europa League and that. And then he was with
he won
my man up front in it, which I'll get onto a bit later.
He won the league. Well, he won the league, the first one in 2013-14 with Atletico.
Yes, Did he win the league with Wolfsburg or Werder Bremen? Who he was?
He
did. Yeah. That just goes to show how quality he was. And then he went to Juve. It didn't quite work out. Yeah, like when he went to Juve, obviously he got the big move, didn't quite work out, and then he went to Atletico, done his thing, bruv. Diego, free kicks, pretty much a complete midfielder at that time. So for me, I'm going to go with Guti since man like Terra. Or Terrence, sorry, like I know if I'm butchering your name, bro. Like, but BBK basically, BBK. If you went with Riquelme, obviously, well, I say obviously, but I rate your ball knowledge, of course, brother. But I'll go with Guti in it. Has anyone mentioned Guti in their midfield yet?
No.
Okay, cool. I'm going with I'm going to go with Guti then. I've got to go with Guti, bro. Do you know, I love Guti, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I've always loved him, man. Like quality. But yeah, that's the midfield, bro. I want to hear your midfield, didn't it? Like because
I went old school. So I went with Overmars and Pires as the wingers.
Yeah.
The first center midfielder I'm going to say is he's also in the argument for one of the greatest managers of all time. I went with Carlo Ancelotti.
Don Carlito, bro. Yeah.
A lot of people forget how cold this guy was. Him and Frank Rijkaard were the anchor to, in my opinion. Again, people will say, "Oh, you're just talking about the old football." For me, Reggio Sacchi's AC Milan is the greatest team I've ever seen play football, in my opinion. What a lot of people forget was Carlo Ancelotti was one of the best defensive midfielders at the time. He was unbelievable with Roma. He went to Milan, was even better when they put him and Frank Rijkaard together in those positions. And for what a lot of people forget, Ancelotti's the guy who taught Andrea Pirlo how to be the defensive midfielder. Many people forget that Andrea Pirlo was a number 10 at Inter. He converted him from a number 10 to a defensive midfielder. But for me, Carlo Ancelotti was the first guy I went to, and then I went with another old school midfielder from Serie A. for me, I think this is one of those guys that those who know how great this guy is. A lot of younger guys don't know how good he was. But for me, my other center midfielder is Lothar Matthäus. I think Lothar Matthäus for me, Lothar Matthäus, in my opinion, top three, top four greatest German players of all time, in my opinion.
And he was only 5'9" as well, and he could do it.
Play anywhere. Play anywhere. Defensively was fantastic. Could go box to box if you wanted to. Could play number 10 if you wanted to. The guy could score goals. If I remember correctly, he was the captain of Germany when they won in 1990. Him and Jurgen Klinsmann were just an unbelievable German.
He moved to Inter after that because I think he was still playing for Bayern Munich during.
No, he was with Inter leading into that.
Oh, okay.
He was with Inter leading into that.
He won the Ballon d'Or, innit? He won the Ballon d'Or like around a bit after that, or not too long after that. Class, man. You know what? I'm not surprised that you went with the more defensive and you've got a more solid midfield. Your midfield is kind of like built for
it's built for both because they can do both. But it's all. But again, that's that Italian shit. You always think
that they're better defensively, innit? You know, whereas mine is just like, look, like your team is more like for like the season in it, and then you could be unbelievable in the cups as well. But mine is like we could do bits in the season, but we're always going to concede a few goals. But with my defense in it as well, like it is what it is. But to be honest, I thought you would have, at least for one of the picks, I thought you would have gone with maybe like a Wesley Sneijder or someone like that, innit? Because like Wesley Sneijder was class, brother. I thought you would have had like one defensive and then one that was a bit more attacking. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like the diamond, like where you have like, you know, one protecting, one accelerating, not even accelerating, but
I have him in a different team. Because again, this is the problem. You got to keep coming up with different teams.
I thought about Wesley Sneijder as well. I just have to put it out there.
Listen, Sneijder for me, when you talk about robberies, the 2009-2010 Ballon d'Or should have been handed over to him with no problem. I mean, he was the difference that changed everything from how Inter played under Roberto Mancini when it was all or nothing on Zlatan Ibrahimovic and then added in with some of the players. When Jose Mourinho brought Sneijder into Inter and then changed everything with Eto'o and bringing in Diego Milito as well. Sneijder was the one who unlocked that team. And for me...
he got to the World Cup final as well. And then they out to Spain on top of that. He was pivotal for them, along with Iron Robben.
Sneijder was class, man. Sneijder was class, 100%.
I had to say it, bro, innit? But
listen, man, I think he doesn't get the respect he deserves because he was, again, one of those players. He's one of those, like, people talk about it all the time. He's one of those bad trainers. Like, everybody talks about Hazard sucked at training and all this other. You know what? You had a God-given talent with Wesley Sneijder. And the thing was, you know, look how good Wesley Sneijder was. He couldn't break into the Real Madrid starting 11 because of Guti. So that even speaks to
higher. Which is part of the, well, not part of the reason, but you see why I picked him, innit? Of course.
Listen, Guti for me is one of those guys that, again, same conversation with the Edgar Davids, the Clarence Seedorfs of the world, where a lot of people do not give them the props that they deserved. I think Guti is better than a lot of number 10s, in my opinion. I mean, you talk about a guy who didn't, you know, to the point of what like RSV says about stats. Stats are pointless because if you you know, when a lot of people are so caught up in this, oh, he didn't get the assist, he didn't get the goal. A lot of the guys that we're talking about that can ball may not get the assist or goal, but the pass that leads to the assist or the pass that goes right before the assist that are just as important. And with these guys that we're talking about, these guys would be able to find the ball and ball out and make you look ridiculous as well.
But exactly, they wouldn't be rated because they don't have the GA.
Correct.
Like Salah has more GA than Ronaldinho, Zizou.
He's got more GA than Diego Maradona. He doesn't stand
exactly. Like, are you really going to put Mo Salah in that and even Cristiano. Cristiano was great, unbelievable for a few, like 04, you know, the Euros, and then the 06 World Cup. That for me, that was the best Cristiano. You saw what he did at Highbury, I watched that game. I was livid, but at the same time, in my mind, I was like, it's Cristiano, bruv. He's 19. He's got the what is it, headwind or tailwind, whichever one. Do you know what I'm saying? Where he's moving in the right direction. He's got everything behind him. Do you know what I mean? And it is what it is. But I agree, like with what you're saying, RSV. It's just like CRY7, Salah. There are many other players. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're just built on stats. Do you know what I'm saying? Even Bukayo Saka to a lesser degree. Bukayo Saka, like, you know, like, and I rate Bukayo Saka. Cristiano Ronaldo is a great player, but he's not goated, bruv. Like, people think Guns, and even myself, because I agree with them and others, think that we're insane because we wouldn't put him in our top 50. But Guti gets in ahead of him, just as a footballer, just as a pure technical footballer. But because they don't get GA, they're not rated. It doesn't make sense, bruv. But when it comes to Madueke, you're going to rate him, but he don't get GA. So which one is it?
Right.
You got to see the hypocrisy. You got to see the bullshit. But this is why I love you, Gianni. This is why I love you guys. You know, mad love and respect. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys get it. Whether we agree on or disagree on certain players of certain eras, you know, like we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. Like we understand what football is ultimately. It's about the joy. And when you have the best players, it gives you more chance of winning anyway, bro.
Yep.
Even if they don't have the best stats individually. There are players that have better stats than Ronaldo Fenomeno, bro. Are they better than him? Nowhere near, bro. Even an injured, crippled Ronaldo. Even the one that went to Milan, bro. And Corinthians. You know, I was going to say another striker, but I'm going to wait.
So that's a good segue to go into this.
You know what I'm saying?
your two strikers. You said one's obviously going to be more of like the number 10 secondary striker.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to hear this pairing because I've been blown away by the all-out offense and assault you're trying to do. So,
but you understand it, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear it.
It's not defensive. It's not really solid, but you know.
Who's the first striker that you got on this forward line?
I'm gonna go with the second striker.
Okay.
You may not see him per se as a second striker, but he was meant to be, and he played in the Serie A as well. He was meant to be the next best thing, like Ronaldo, but he also had qualities of Ronaldinho. You kind of see where I'm going with this. Alexandre Pato, bro. Injuries, and he had it all, man. Do you know what I'm saying? He's basically my height, a bit smaller than me, but bearing in mind, look, I'm a stocky guy, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to play rugby, lifting. You know about that anyway now, Johnny. Like, it is what it is. Like, my build is my build. Like, my dad is in his 60s, bro, yeah? And he's fucking wham, bro. Like, his biceps and all of that. He was in mad shape, like, when he was around my age, you know what I'm saying? He was an athlete. You know, I'll tell you more about it backstage. But, like, yeah, like, for me, Alexandre Pato, I wouldn't go as far as say wasted talent, but it's more of like a shame with the talent. You know, not shameful talent, but a shame with the talent. Do you know what I'm saying? And I use them words specifically because Alexandre Pato, you know, obviously, because when it comes to Serie A, you're all over it, and rightly so. And you know more about ball than I do, to be honest. But I know enough in it. Do you know what I'm saying, Johnny? I know enough in it. Compared to the likes of Egal and all of that, I know way, way more. It is what it is, just by default. But anyway, Alexandre Pato, for me, he had it all. And the stats that he wasn't lauded up for, you know, like his passing, you know, underrated as well. He can link up play and all of that. You know, that Milan team, you know, 08, 09, you know, when Bex was there, you see how they were popping it off with Ronaldinho and them man there. Do you know what I'm saying? He was crucial. Yes, he was more playing out and out up front, but he would drop back into, you know, the false nine and shit like that. He wasn't, I wouldn't say he was like a Dennis Bergkamp, like he was a number 10, but second striker without a shadow of a doubt. More so of a number 10, but could definitely play the second striker. But with Alexandre Pato, because he's so forward thinking and he was so quick. Remember that goal against Barcelona, bruv? I almost creamed myself, bruv. I'm not going to lie. Like, I got so gassed, bruv. I don't care, bruv. I was so gassed when he scored that goal. You know why? Because I was like, this is what I want to see, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? And this was like in the first few seconds, innit? It was like the first 10, 20 seconds. Gets the touch, boom, gone. He's away, and then he slots it past Victor Valdez, bro.
Yep.
And look, he wasn't the greatest keeper, Victor Valdez, but he weren't too shabby as well.
No, yeah, he's. I agree. I think he's one of the.
Like, Pato destroyed that Barca team in less than 30 seconds. There's a song that's massive in the UK, especially England and London, where I'm from, like by So Solid Crew, in it, like 21 seconds. Yeah, I got 21 seconds. That's how Alexandre Pato was moving. Literally 21 seconds to go. I got 21 seconds to go.
Oh yeah,
no. Yeah. But like Alexandre Pato, bro, like it was Black Crow. I know it was mad, but look, Alexandre Pato, yeah. If you know, you know, you understand. For me, yeah, that guy was meant to be the best.
Oh yeah,
era, bro. Injuries. There was probably a few other things. Like he had a similar path to Falcao. Like obviously Falcao technically wasn't the level of Pato, but you know, like Pato went to Chelsea, so did what's his face, Falcao. He was at Man United, Falcao, and obviously Monaco before that. Like for me, with Pato, it was such a shame, man, because that guy could do everything with the football if he wanted to. But like dribbling, his touch, obviously his finishing, yeah. And that's why when we saw the 17, 18-year-old Kylian Mbappe, even in my mind, I was thinking at one point in time, like back then, if Pato was still playing, yeah, what Kylian Mbappe was doing for Monaco, yeah, that's what I wanted Pato to be doing at the highest level. And he had everything to do that. But again, he had all the pace, but all the tech. He was stronger than he looked. He could link up play. You know, he could spray the ball a little bit, but he was more like the short passing, not tiki-taka, but do you know what I'm saying? He'd do the 1-2s, like what we did at Arsenal, innit? It was the total football. And he fits that mold for me. Do you know what I'm saying? And he links well with another Brazilian who also played in the Serie A. Do you know what I'm saying? No, it's not Ronaldo Fenomeno. I'll probably save that for another day. A bit like Robin, isn't it? For me, this guy.
Is this your other striker?
The what is it? The Matador, bro. The absolute emperor.
Oh, Cavani.
Adriano, bro.
Oh no, that's the yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Adriano, bro. Like the emperor. Like,
is that your other striker? Yeah,
Adriano, bro. That guy. Even Zlatan said it. That guy was meant to be the greatest as well.
You know what? I'll be honest with you.
Maybe even of all time as well. He had absolutely everything, and he
actually made me over Neymar as the greatest waste of talent. If I'm being honest with you, because that motherfucker was insane.
Yeah, but there were more genuine reasons with Adriano compared to Neymar. You know, Neymar didn't suffer what Adriano did. Let's be real, innit?
Yeah,
because imagine if Neymar lost one of his family members, bruv. He would have crashed out, bruv. Even worse than what Adriano did. Do you know what I'm saying? Even with all that talent, ability. With Adriano, yeah. Adriano was, what is he, like 6'2"? So obviously bigger than
that. I think Adriano was like 6'4".
Is he 6'3", 6'4"? Yeah.
Dude, when he came onto the scene, we were like, what the fuck is this now? Because it was like, because Inter, you know, with a lot of people, he was at Parma for 2 years and tore it up, and he was good with Fiorentina, but he was with Inter initially in 2001, and then they put him on loan to Fiorentina, then he went to Parma for 2 years, then came back to Inter. And dude, it was like Inter could have missed. Like a lot of people forget. You know, everybody talks about Real Madrid as the Galacticos and the money that they spent to go after these players. Everybody forgets Inter did it worse than Real Madrid. They spent way more money than Real Madrid did in that time frame.
And that's why you get that £1 billion from, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? But
and that's the thing. You know, there was at one point at Inter Milan, you had Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Adriano, Obafemi Martins, and Mario Balotelli all on the same fucking team. And then on top of it, they added. Do you remember the Argentine striker? I believe he was with Lazio before he came to.
Hernan Crespo. Is that the one?
Crespo was there as well when he got older. But the other one was Julio Ricardo Cruz, was another striker.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, how the fuck you got this many strikers on the team? And again, that was par for the course, because remember, another guy who I had him as one of my strikers when I picked my team with Taryn. The other guy that was on that team, who for me, he was one of my favorite players growing up, was Recoba. Recoba was an absolute fucking genius. But it was just like Inter just kept going like this. And even what's his name? The guy from Tottenham was there for a year, and he got bounced because he couldn't cut it in Italy, but he was the Premier League. Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane was
yeah. Oh, yeah. Robbie Keane, of course. Jermaine Defoe as well. Mad underrated. I don't care what.
Mad underrated.
Class.
Okay. So that is an awesome.
Sorry, Johnny. Just to finish up with Adriano, because he deserves it. Because I went on a bit with Pato, so I think it's only fair with Adriano. Adriano as an emperor, boss man, 6'3" or 4'2", give or take either way. Yeah, super strong, superhuman actually when it comes to strength and his build. But all the tech in the fucking world. Shot power 99 from Pez. I remember playing that shit.
I was just going to say, his left foot was probably just as strong as fucking Roberto Carlos. He was unbelievable.
Free kicks, obviously pens, we know he could take them as well. But he would occupy defenders like no other, bro. Not because he was that big and strong, and also super quick as well. He was very quick.
Yep.
But he was so techie. Like, you could not deal with him. And again, you know, there's an argument for wasted talent, and like Adriano, like it's sad with what happened with his old man. Zlatan was saying it, like he was never the same. Like, and I hear it, and then obviously he went back to Brazil with Flamengo and all of that, and it's sad, man, because he should have won. He was that guy that should have won a World Cup, you know, champs and all of that shit. Yeah, he won Serie A, I think, maybe once or twice or something like that.
No, he was with Inter. He was with Inter for all the trophies. He left after the 08-09 year. He went to Sao Paulo, I think, for like half. No, Sao Paulo was 08. He went to Flamengo the year that Inter won the treble, and he tore it out. He scored like 20 some odd goals, I think, down in South America. But then he came back to Italy, and what was sad was he went to Roma, and he went to a damn good Rome team that was fighting Inter Milan for the Scudetto at that time period. I mean, if memory serves me right, the front line for Rome in that 2010-2011 year, I believe it was there was a mixture. It was Totti, Adriano, my guy. A lot of people don't remember this guy, but I love this guy, Jeremy Menez.
Jeremy Menez. Oh, he was cold, man.
Another the streets will never forget. Another the streets will never forget was Jeremy Menez.
I thought of even putting him on the right, but as a second striker,
and if you remember, they had Mr. Longshot. Do you remember Mirko Vucinic, the Montenegrin striker?
Vucinic was like
and they had the Brazilian guy Rodrigo
Tadeu. Do you know who I also thought of as the second striker? Just very quickly, you'll definitely know him, yeah. Antoine Cassano, bro. That guy was insane. No worries. I'll just say this, guys, and big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe to Gianni. Do you know what I'm saying? Talks Cow Show and all of that. TV, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But yeah, like Antoine Cassano, bro, baller, absolute certified baller. Didn't quite go for him at Real Madrid. Should have got way more game time. It is what it is. But what he was doing into Sampdoria, brother, like, and I think, but you see, guys, my team is total football, scintillating, damn near all out attack. Adriano, man, like, it's a shame. It's a shame. Oh no, I mentioned Raul Gonzalez, but. Yeah, for me, man, like Adriano and Alexandre Pato, the Brazilian connection, they both got unbelievable techers and all of that. Antoine Cassano is up there. I think the only other one that I would have had that I thought about, if it wasn't Adriano, and he's definitely up there as waste of talent, and I'll mention this to Gianni when he comes back. Oh, you're back. Brilliant. Perfect timing. Yeah, I was going to say, Gianni, like the only other waste of talent that I would include, if it wasn't for Adriano up front, is Mario Balotelli. All the skill, like all the tech, charisma, absolute nutcase. Got you to a Euro final.
I love
like treble winner. Yeah, like unbelievable. Like to be honest, yeah, generational as well. Let's be honest, generational talent. But for me, like massively misunderstood. A little bit like Paul Pogba. Nowhere near, Paul Pogba was a lot calmer. Don't get me wrong, but both of them were mad, like underappreciated, misunderstood. Like what Mario Balotelli did for your lot, what he did for Inter, like, and even when I saw like recently that the clip always comes back up where he's playing for Brescia, I believe.
Brescia, yeah.
Oh, Brescia. Sorry, I thought I pronounced it not too bad.
When him and Tonali were there, he was there with Tonali.
Where he does that step over and then he does a Rabona in the bottom right.
Oh, no. That was in Turkey. That was in Turkey. Yeah, no. The Brescia, the famous Brescia goal that he scored was the fucking free kick from like a mile out that he scored with
yeah,
Brescia.
I remember seeing that. But you know what I'm getting at, Gianni? Like that guy was ice cold, madman, but super tech. Diego Milito, yeah, I rated him highly as well. Obviously, he got the goal in the Champs final against Bayern. That was at the Bernabeu as well, I believe.
Yes. 2010 was in the
Van Gaal's Bayern Munich team as well. So
yeah,
like if it wasn't for Adriano, like Mario Balotelli, and again he's another Serie A like graduate and all of that, like all the gear, no idea, as they say.
For me, Balotelli, Neymar, Adriano, Cassano. A lot of people forget how cold Cassano was.
Yeah,
Cassano. It was just he was a fucking nutcase.
Oh, yeah.
Did
you see the way that he schooled Rafael Leao in it, where he's just like, if you're going to be doing that shit, you got to back it up, kind of. I know I'm super paraphrasing it, but the way he said that, I was like, you're a G, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
See, the thing, that's the reason why a lot of people don't like Cassano is Cassano don't give a fuck. Cassano does not give a fuck. I disagree with a lot of the shit that Cassano says because I think I think part of the problem with Cassano is he sniffs too much of his own shit. Those who know.
But super sniff.
Cassano, here's the thing about Cassano. He was unbelievable at body when he came up. Still the pride of body. When he went to Rome the first time, it was unbelievable while he was there. It failed at Real Madrid because I think Cassano is a freaking nutcase. As far as I'm concerned with that, but as far as ability on the football, I'm gonna struggle to find that many Italian players that was better on the ball than Antonio Cassano. If you ever wanted to see Cassano, when he came back from Real Madrid, he went to Sampdoria on loan. Him, Angelo Palumbo, another shout out if you know. And at the time, another guy who was a big waste of talent on that team, but they were great for a couple years at Sampdoria was Gianpaolo Pazzini. Cassano and Pazzini single-handedly were dragging Sampdoria to the top half finish that they did for those few years with that team. I mean, the team was unbelievable. And Cassano, same thing. The problem with Cassano was it was inconsistencies with him. Cassano would have a world game and then take 3 games off, because he would live off of the unbelievable shit that he would do for a game. And that was the biggest thing with Cassano. Cassano said, and I agree with him, a guy, and people may think I'm crazy for comparing the two, but I don't think so because of how well he did overall. Antonio Cassano and Lorenzo Insigne, for me, are 2 guys from Italy that had unbelievable capabilities. The problem was the consistency. Both of them could put in a world-class performance and be an unplayable player for 2-3 games, but then have a 7 to 8 game streak after that 3-game streak of just being absolutely non-existent. And that was the whole reason why, when you look at that AC Milan team that won the Scudetto, that ended Inter's streak of dominance, it was just a situation where Cassano, was he unbelievable? Yeah. The problem was time had almost started to pass him up. And the other thing with Cassano, before I move on from this, was Cassano's hot-headedness was a bad thing for him. But Cassano is yet again another player that shows the bullshit and the hypocrisy when it comes to the politics of the Italian national team. For us to go from 2010, for the 2010 World Cup, for him to do what he did with Sampdoria for 3 straight years at that time, because he went there on loan from Real Madrid in 07-08 and then made it permanent. Because for Cassano to not get called up to the national team simply because he got into a beef with Marcello Lepi's son is absolute nonsense. Because he was better than anybody else that we sent there.
Oh, he doesn't have the right temperament. I always hear that. Oh, he doesn't have the right temperament.
How in God's
good
name,
boy. Like, get the fuck out of it.
How in God's name, trash ass Vincenzo Iaquinta gets to start as a striker? No. How trash ass Iaquinta gets to start as a striker for the Italian national team over Fabio Quagliarella, Gianpaolo Pazzini, or Antonio Cassano will still fucking hurt my brain to think about that. It's one of the worst decisions ever that we went back to Lepi for 2010. That's a whole nother show that I have to do. Because
very quickly before you move on to your picks, because I'm very intrigued to hear your picks at striker. You mentioned Lorenzo Insigne, right? Although he was a midget, I don't judge when it comes to height compared to these bitches. Do you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. The game's the game, people. Yeah. Insigne, yeah, cold, bruv. What he done for your lot, yeah. What he done for Napoli, you know, the few times or whatever that he played for Italy, brother. That guy, bruv. That fucking guy, bruv. Cold. And I hate this. This is why I hate modern football. They have to be a certain height, and if they're not, if they're not at that height, right, they have to be like super quick. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you're like under like 6 foot, moving like these fucking broken ass bitches, yeah, they have to be like super quick. You know, like they get the GA and all of that consistently. Like, but because like they don't rate tech and all of that, because they judge GA, it's just like Insigne just gets swept under the carpet. A bit like Dries Mertens as well. He's another one. Yeah. He's another one that the streets won't forget as well. Like, it blows my fucking mind. Obviously, you mentioned Jeremy Menez. I thought about him in my team, whether it was right or second striker, of course. Like, but we know ball, bro. Like, it's madness. Like,
if you go back, you want to actually laugh. If you go back and look at AC Milan, I forget what year it was. It might have been 2013, 14, or 2014, 2015. The whole team was a bunch of street ballers on the team that they just didn't have the defensive side of the game down packed that could stay healthy.
Oh, yeah, they had like El Shaarawy in that as well. I almost
they had Mario Balotelli. They had Mario Balotelli, Jeremy Menez, Adel Taarabt came on loan. They had the left-footed Japanese kid that was cold for a while, Keisuke Honda.
Yeah, Honda. Yeah, them free kicks were fucking immense. And then you had even before that season, and he was, I've only just thought about him now. Like, if I did this on the fly, I would have definitely considered him in my midfield. Maybe even instead of a Paul Pogba, Kevin Prince Boateng, bro.
I had him on the bench for my team with Taryn.
Yeah. The streets will never forget, because what he done for Milan, bro, like what he did in the Serie A, fucking cold. How the fuck did this guy play for Portsmouth, bro? That's mad.
And Spurs. He played for Portsmouth and Spurs.
Adel Taarabt played for Spurs as well. It's madness, bro.
Brother, Kevin Prince Boateng's another one that's in that conversation for wasted talent, because not only at that AC Milan team, but then when he left, again, a team the streets will not forget as far as FIFA. That Schalke team. Team that had him, Jefferson Farfan, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, Young Draxler.
Draxler, the guy that we were meant to sign like 1 billion times, bro.
Yep.
You know
and then
he went to fucking PSG, he went to Wolfsburg, then he went to fucking
he went to Wolfsburg, then PSG. They also had the baller from Lyon. The injuries wrecked his career. Was Michel Bastos as well.
Michel Bastos.
Yeah,
he was another one of them. He had the free kicks. He had the long range,
man,
shots and all.
Yeah,
that.
man.
I love a distant shooter, bro. If
But
you know
he-
from FIFA days, you know, bro.
Oh,
Mate, Michel Bastos. He had 5-star skills at one point, bro. Like this was like 12 plus years ago. Oh,
Yeah.
bro, you're bringing me back, bro.
But so I went. So for my two strikers, I went with an Argentinian duo up top on this team.
Nice. So I went Brazilian, of course, with the Joker Benito, and then you went with the Argentinian.
I went with the Argentinian. So my secondary striker, I don't know if a lot of people remember this guy, but one of the teams that I loved watching as a youngster was that old Valencia team, and I went with Pablo Aimar. I went with Pablo Aimar. A lot of people forget how cold Pablo Aimar was and how critical and how good he was for that old.
He was magical, bro. He was a magician. Absolute magician.
Him there when he went to Benfica too. He was class at Benfica. Another quick shout out. I had him on my first team with Aaron. They were two of my favorite guys to watch with that Valencia team, with Pablo Aimar and then old school Vicente. Vicente and Pablo Aimar on that line.
You know Vicente, just very quickly, I used Vicente. I always used to buy him on FIFA 07. I actually still have the copy, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't get the control. I showed it. Remember, like with Aaron, I've got that. I've got what is it? You have the FIFA 8, but you know the best ones, bro. This was a great. And then hang on, this is for me the best FIFA game. I don't care what anyone says, but you can understand why. Yeah, this was the one. The first touch, Paddy V, Patrick Vieira. Yeah, you got Morientes, who. Morientes class.
He was a cold
yeah,
too.
Shevchenko, you know, he was what he was and all that. But TT was the highest rated player. Hold that, you pussios. Do you know what I'm saying? As we would say over here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, this brings me back. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like Aimar, bruv. I used to use him as well. But Vicente, bruv, all I used to do was dribble, go out on the left, and just whip them balls in, bruv, like it was nobody's business, bruv. That Valencia team. And the other guy, quick shout out on the right, and I did think about him, Joaquin.
That's Aaron, team.
Aaron, yeah. The reason why I didn't say it is because I knew he picked him, but he was one that I thought
Joaquin
Joaquin was cold.
That whole Valencia.
Yeah. Ashley Cole even said himself, that Joaquin was his toughest opponent, and that speaks volumes, innit? That speaks fucking volumes. If Ashley Cole,
they had one other guy on that team, or maybe he came later.
What, Valencia?
Yeah, he was another winger. He was cold. He was there for a minute. He was off.
David Silva used to play out wide, didn't he?
Silva was there with this team. Oh, another street.
Gonzalez?
No, another one the streets won't forget. Sofiane Feghouli, the Algerian winger.
Feghouli, bro. Oh shit!
He went to Valencia in 2010, right at the time when Vicente and I think Joaquin were getting ready to depart when they went into the Valencia with Unai Emery as the manager. But yeah, man, Valencia had ballers.
Yeah, they were cold. They had Joaquin, they had Vicente, they had Marchena. I think Ivan Helguera was there. They had Canizares in goal. They had a certain David Villa before he went to Barca. Obviously, David Silva came after that, and Juan Mata as well. Juan Mata was cold, bro. As a second strike. Woo! Number 10. And what is it? In the midfield, you had
Baraja
and Albeida. Was it Albeida?
Yeah, Albeida was there too.
Yeah,
that Valencia team was cold for a minute, man.
That team was class, pure class, bro. Yeah, Vicente, bro. Oh my!
That was my guy, man. Yeah, one of my favorite players growing up watching was Vicente.
But I hear that Argentinian because it's like it's right up there with the total football. But mine is just more like there's just a bit more spice and all, a bit more flair, you know, because like it's more Joker Benito, whereas yours is just like
a little bit more grit.
There's a bit more like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, a bit like James Brown, innit? Like, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, you got to have that James Brown, ain't it funky? Do you know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of that with that Argentinian spice.
So to round it off, Pablo Aimar's partner, and everybody knows this guy, and he was just nothing but class. Batistuta.
Oh, Batistuta. Oh my days. Oh my fucking days.
But
I
Gabriel
saw him way too late, bro. He was pretty much done when I saw little bits.
My thing with Batistuta was this. I think Batistuta stayed too long at Fiorentina. However, it adds also to the mystique because he dragged Fiorentina out of Serie B and made them a good solid team in Serie A in the 90s. And then obviously we all know what happened. He went to Rome. Rome's front three when they won the Scudetto was Batistuta, Vincenzo Montella, and Totti, which that team was just unbelievable to watch. If people in the chat, if you've never seen Gabriel Batistuta, Montella, and Totti, the highlights of when Rome last won the Scudetto, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
Yeah, I've seen the Batistuta highlights. Obviously, I grew up watching even kind of prime time. I know Totti's been playing since the 90s, but like in the noughties when I was watching him, you know, when he was with Nike and all of that, at a certain point in time, like 02 World Cup, even just before that, and definitely after that, cold. Montella as well, he was a very good striker.
Yeah,
like, that Roma team was cold. You know, it's the same Roma team, there or thereabouts, that TT got a hat-trick in. I think it was 02-03.
Yes, the season after they won those.
Yeah. I remember that. It was that Kappa ball, isn't it? That Kappa ball. Yep. I remember that. That again, TT loves playing against Serie A, but again, it's the mindset. Point to prove. Obviously, like TT, you can never forget and all of that. But I tell you what, brother, both of our teams,
we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
I always do this. I'm there, bro.
3 players. You get 3 players, any positions you want for the bench.
Love that. Okay.
So I'll go first on this one as a backup. Who will I go with? This is actually now interesting. You know what? No, I can't use him because I'm going to use him on a different team.
Yeah. See, you got to be more strategic compared to me, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
Because I got to keep going.
yeah. You got to keep the shit. I hear it. Yeah, but that's why your ball knowledge is elite. That's why I say yours is better than mine. You got. I
appreciate it. I appreciate that, brother.
This shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I will have a backup striker for this one. And my backup striker hated his guts because he played at Juventus and he was part of their prime time in the 90s. And he went on to Chelsea and was awesome. I'm going with Gianluca Vialli, man. Vialli was such a good striker. Such a good striker. I could only dream of Italy. I could only dream of Gianluca Vialli, a similar type of player coming to Italy.
R.I.P. as well. R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Gianluca Vialli. Yeah. But Vialli's going to be my first. Vialli's going to be my first bench player as a part of this team. And yeah, man, he was just cold. As much as I hated him for being with Juve and the dominance in the 90s after Napoli fell apart and everything else leading into the bankruptcy. But Gianluca Vialli was a bad dude. And I'm going to have him as my rotation striker. Who you having for the first bench player?
Do you know, I'm going to work my way up, you know, building the foundations or continuing with the foundations, I should say. I think defensively is the easiest pick for me. I've already mentioned him. David Alaba could play anywhere in that back line. I know he's like left-footed and all that, but if I really needed him to, he could play right back. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, he's more like left back, centre back, but he can also play midfield, and that's where he started. He's that good, generational. I would say he's Austria's one of their best ever players, unless you're going to go back to like the 50s or whatever.
Yeah,
I know they had a great team round them similar times, but in the super modern era, especially in the new millennium, like this century. Like, right up there. Like David Alaba, if it wasn't for either Marcelo or Campbell, I would have put David Alaba in there anyway. But like for me, like I would whenever we played Bayern Munich, whether it's Arsenal, I don't know how many times you played Bayern Munich when it comes to Napoli when David Alaba was there. But because he was there for so long, I'm sure you played them at least a couple of times. Whether it's in the
we never played Bayern.
Oh, you haven't? Well, you were lucky. You were lucky.
We never played Bayern.
We got absolutely destroyed. And David Alaba was a massive part of that. He was.
I know. Trust me, I remember. I had nightmares for a while over that.
Super cold. The guy, I don't think you ever really saw him lose his head. Do you know what I'm saying? The ultimate professional. He's similar height to me. He's not a stocky build. He's like the regular build, but super fit, decent pace, especially prime time. He actually had very good pace, to be fair, but he wasn't lightning quick. But technically, absolutely sound, can defend. And there's a reason why. Towards the latter stages of his career, is he still at Real Madrid?
Who?
Technically, David Alaba. Is he still at Real?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a good
because I know he had his injury troubles, but the fact that he's been at Real Madrid for a few years now, like towards the end of his career, it's just a testament to how great he is. Do you know?
He's still there. It's just
but again, David Alaba, he's played for one of the two biggest clubs in world football ever. Do you know what I'm saying? That guy is not only Austria's arguably best ever player, but he's a best player of his generation. Do you know what I'm saying? And he could play multiple positions as well because he was that fucking good. And it's an easy pick for centre back. So how do you want to do this, brother? Do you want to you pick your defensive and then we go like before? We both pick our midfield.
I'm going forward. I'm going forward back, which is cool. Back to front.
Or do you want me to go through all of mine and then go through all of?
So my other bench player. This is going to be more of a recent guy. Again, for me, this is a streets we'll never forget. If you know. My guy who I'm going to put on the bench can play secondary striker and winger, possibly in the middle if needed to, but was better on the wing and is a secondary striker. I'm going with Dani Alves Gomez. Dani was the Portuguese winger / number 10 for Zenit St. Petersburg. Danny, for me, another one of those guys for me, if you know, the streets will never forget. Donnie, for me, was one of my favorite players. I always had to have him on my FIFA teams back in the day. Didn't care what the amount was. I would even sell the best player on the team to get Donnie. Was just a fantastic player for me. And again, another guy to where the streets won't forget. So that's my second bench guy. You've now gone from defense. Are you going with another defender or are you going into the middle now?
Basically, the way I do it, because it's 3, I play to the cards that are dealt in front of me. No problem with that. That's just life. It is what it is. But I'm actually cool with 3. You know why? Defense, midfield, attack. It keeps things actually very simple for me.
Yeah.
Even though the midfield and attack is a bit more difficult. But I think the most difficult for me, because when I used to play more so like primary school, like elementary school, innit? Like, and then when I went to high school, it was more rugby, innit? Like when I was playing. But I could still play kickball about. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't really lose that tech like yourself. You're more right back. I was more like midfielder, like number 10, or like a centre mid in a midfield 2, kind more like that. The only downside is when I was younger, I didn't have the best engine, but I was creative, but I could also do the defensive work as well. I just didn't have the engine like a Stevie G or anything like that. It is what it is. But because I had the pace at the time, I was playing out wide as well. And I was cool with that, because if you're playing football, you're actually cool with playing out wide. Like even in England, do you know what I'm saying? Like even in the UK, because like you're still going to get a bit of the ball and you supply the service in it to the strikers, to the number 10, or to one of the centre mids to drive forward, or both of them when you're in transition. Do you know what I mean? Now, I've got 2 in mind. You heard me mention Kevin Prince Boateng, who I thought about on the fly.
I had him on my last team on the bench.
Yeah, on the bench.
Yeah.
But do you know what? There's one other, and I hate the fact that he played for Tottenham. But to be fair, he was wicked at Fulham. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck he stayed at Tottenham for that long is beyond me. He was part of that Poch team, and he carried that team. Do you know what I'm saying? In the middle of the park.
Talking about who I think, Dembele?
Moussa Dembele, bruv.
Yeah.
Another one the streets will never forget. That guy, freak of nature, 6'2", ridiculously strong, but technically masterful, wizardry, graduated from the school of witchcraft and wizardry. Do you know what I'm saying? You could not get the ball off that guy.
Yeah.
Every time we played Spurs and he was on that team, I dreaded it. Do you know what I'm saying? Even more than Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen combined. You know why? Because that guy defensively was actually he was actually good, to be fair, considering. But his best attributes were going forward and holding up the ball. He was doing the Yaya Toure. He was kind of their Yaya Toure, but a bit more fluid with the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a bit more elegant. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, he was a hothead, but for me, when it comes to temperament, I love that they have a bit of an edge. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're a bit of a nutcase. They don't give a fuck. Like, they go over the edge because it shows character. It shows personality. It's what football is missing, period. Fuck modern football, just football, period. Like, this day and age, regardless, modern football, whatever you call it, we're missing a Moussa Dembele, yeah? And for me, if it wasn't for Moussa Dembele, I don't think Tottenham would have got as far. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have got as high up the table. Yes, they had Harry Kane, but Harry Kane was on loan to like Millwall and Norwich. And then we saw the greatness, of his ability and everything, dropping in the pockets, linking with Christian Eriksen, who again is class. Even before the what is it, the heart attack or whatever, which I think it was some other shit. But again, I won't put it on this stream, of course, because otherwise it would get shut down. I don't want to make it. But you kind of know what I'm getting at with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, even with them two players, and obviously you mentioned the Vertongers and Alderweireld, who they could easily have been gotten at. Like, against most of the teams in the Premier League, they did what they had to do, but against the better teams, they always fell short. And they were a big part of the reason why. But Moussa Dembele held it down, bro. He held it down, and he got some really good goals as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Did he score one in the semi-final when they faced Chelsea? I think he scored a good quality goal or something like, or he set up one. Either way,
I think he set up one. I think it was. Was that the fake? And he gave was that the no look pass that he gave?
Maybe. I think it was. But that guy just oozes like, class in terms of on a football. Yeah, he was a nutcase, but when it came to being like, a maverick, a baller, like a trendsetter, like the guy that you would pay to see. If there was one Tottenham player that I would pay to see, there's not many, but one of them is definitely Moussa Dembele. So do you know what? Not just to be different, but because he was that pivotal to the way Tottenham played, and the fact that he should have played for a bigger and better club, and he should have left Tottenham earlier, like a certain other person, and I will get on to him as well. You kind of know where I'm going with this now, yeah? Moussa Dembele, for me, he's like the perfect blend of like good defensively, but what he gives going forward is priceless with his physical attributes as well. Like what Adriano brings up front, what he brings in midfield, like you can't replicate that. There's not been a player remotely like Moussa Dembele. Never mind a Yaya Toure and Paul Pogba. Do you know what I mean? We should have that type of player, but we don't, bruv. You know what I'm saying? We had a Thomas Partey, he done what but he's not. He's not a Moussa Dembele. He's not silky on the ball like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, it is what it is. So do you know what? As much as I love and rate Kevin Prince Boateng, another waste of talent, but Moussa Dembele, I wouldn't say was a waste of talent. He's in the Harry Kane mold where he should have gone to a bigger club. Do you know what I'm saying? The difference is Harry Kane did, but he left it way too late. Do you know what I'm saying? He got his league title. He got his Bundesliga. He might get a Champions League this season. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
For me, I'm still picking Barca. But again, it's just how I like to see football. Like, yes, they're defensively suspect, but Hansi Flick as well is a big part of that. When it comes to system managers, modern football, like Company, the way they play is glorious. But at the same time, in a one-off game, I'm picking a Hansi Flick team, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And that Barca team, Robert Lewandowski, he was another one because, like, he gets the goals, but technically, mad overlooked for me. Like, technically, Lewandowski's class. Like, he understands it. He's a dying breed as well. Like, after him, and to be honest, he's one of those where he tried his best to hold up Poland. Do you know what I'm saying? And yes, they got Zielinski and you got Szczesny in the net, but it's not enough. I know they had Piszczek as well at right back. He's another one I thought about as a right back.
He was good for a while, Piszczek.
Yeah, he was good.
He was a solid fullback.
Yeah, but for me, Lewandowski, like Poland have other issues. Like Lewandowski alone is not enough to get you up.
Yeah, they've never
win a World, or even the Euros, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Poland's never had the defense to be able to go far. The last time Poland had a good, well-rounded team was the '80s when they should have won a Euro or something.
Boniek, bro. Another one, classic 11, bro. I never the streets, the real ones will never.
Boniek.
Yeah, Boniek, bro. Like the night assassin, they used to call him, something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, like Lewandowski, like, and their midfielders, like, kind of been. There's always one in it that Zelensky in this case, but like it is what it is. But going up front, bro, like for me, I thought of a few. Obviously, Mario Balotelli, we mentioned he could definitely be there on the bench, and he could do the second striker as well, but he's more out and out. But I went with a guy that could do both, but because he's that technically gifted, he also played for Tottenham, but he made the move to a big club sooner. Man United, played for Leverkusen in the Champions League final, and he also played for Fulham, like Moussa Dembele, ironically as well. You know, that ball that came through to him on the right-hand side.
Yep.
You know who I'm talking about, bro. Dimitar fucking Bomber Clark Berbatov, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's a shot.
Dimitar Berbatov. He can do the out-and-out striker, but we know he's a false nine at heart. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Leverkusen at Tottenham, I hated him because he was that fucking good.
I hated him in United. He was fucking good.
Yeah, United as well. You know that Berber spin, bro. Streets will never forget that Berber spin, bro. I remember seeing it. That was
And on top of that, what was even more so, what was worse, was he was a part of that fucking Monaco team that embarrassed us in the Champions League.
Yes, yeah.
He went to He went to Monaco at that time period and was fucking still on fire.
Oh, bro, he got the tax breaks. He got the lot, bro. Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that is a hell of
it all as well. He damn near won it all as well. Like for me, like that guy deserves the Champions League because I don't think he won it in the end. Like he was close. He should have played in the not the World Cup final. Sorry, the Champions League final against Barca in 2011. He even brought it up in an interview recently, Dimitar Berbatov, where he should have played in that Champions League final. And I don't think they would have won it in the end, but Man United would have got a lot closer because you had like Rooney up there, and they went with Park obviously to try and disrupt Leo Messi, and it just didn't quite. They had Javier Hernandez, Chicharito. He was a good striker, but he ain't no fucking Dimitar Berbatov. At that level, he needs Dimitar Berbatov, bro. But because he doesn't track back, do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Fergie was on that. Oh, we need to get numbers back and do the donkey work. Like,
yep.
He's a match winner. He's a certified match winner. He's up there with the Dennis Bergkamps and all of that on pure ability. One of the best first touches I have ever seen in my entire life, bro. He done it against Blackpool with Man United as well. I can't remember who he played, but when he was playing with Fulham, I can't remember the team they played. You know the one I'm talking about. And then he did that touch, went up the pitch with Spurs and slotted it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that guy was generational as well. And again, if he played for a better national team, especially European, might have won a Euros. Who knows? I mean, Russia got far with a Sharvin. I thought of Sharvin as either right or left wing. Do you know what I'm saying? He was another streets will never forget. He was sick with us. But
Sharvin,
Dimitar Berbatov, for me, like, he's a pure footballer and he understands it as well, bro. Joga Benito, total scintillating football. Like, and the guy is ice. Not even ice. He's nitrogen, liquid nitrogen cooled, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that guy could dead a ball 60 miles an hour like it's nothing, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not many players like that in any era. In any era. Do you know what I mean? Like, he had to be on the bench because he can do the Adriano role with less pace, but he'll be more like target man. But he can do the second striker, which is more suited to him. And him and Adriano, or him and Alexandre Pato, or they could switch roles as well. If it's Alexandre Pato, so if he comes on for Adriano, he'll go in the Pato role, and Pato will just go up front as well. So there's versatility. Versatility, guys. The light bulb moment, guys. You know what I'm saying? And we can do the fine margins, the total football that I played in the 22-23 season, guys. Let's freaking go, guys. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
that is a fucking hell of a team.
yeah.
That is
like you saw how I started, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. The real ones know, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But yeah, what's your bench again?
So I got Gianluca Vialli and then Dani Gomes from Portugal. My defender, I'm gonna get I don't know if a lot of people remember this guy, but the Brazilian Chris. He was the co-captain of that dominant Lyon team in the early 2000s, and he would start for Brazil even at that time. And I mean, at that time, Brazil still had some good defenders. They had, do you remember Juan from Rome?
Yeah. I know they had like a Roque Jr. and all of that. He wasn't at the level of like Juan and that. And obviously you got Lucio. Lucio's like
Lucio,
right up there with Brazilian
quality,
Brazilian centre backs.
But yeah, I went with Chris. Again, somebody I think that a lot of people overlook because he didn't play in La Liga or Serie A or the Premier League. But again, you know, I say it all the time. What everybody saw Atletico Madrid turn into under Diego Simeone in this 2010s period, Lyon was that team in the early 2000s. Everybody used to say that was the team you did not want to face in the knockout rounds of the Champions League because they could find a way to beat everybody. I always say one of the best games that was an upset, even though there was so much quality on that Lyon team, it gets overlooked. But the 3-0 ass kicking they gave Real Madrid, I believe it's the 05-06 year, they were put in the same group, and Real Madrid got taken to the fucking cleaners by that Lyon team. And Chris was just stopping any type of attack.
He didn't have a game face like in 06 times on FIFA was a disgrace here.
Yeah.
He said disgrace. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. A disgrace. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cold, man. And he had a little bit about him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was good.
Oh, yeah.
He could defend. Like, do you know what I'm saying? He's kind of my kind of centre back as well, in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, I think that Brazil team, the selection.
He made that other Brazilian. Sorry to cut you off, Johnny. He made that other Brazilian who also played at Lyon, Capassa, who ended up playing for Newcastle. He actually made him look good as well. He actually made him look really good, to be fair. Sorry, that's all.
No, 100%. 100%. And I mean, I don't know if he made the final roster for the 06 team. I believe him and Juninho both made it, but he was definitely on the 2010 team. But Chris was absolutely fantastic as a
he got his game face in the end, but it was too late. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like 09, 10 and that. I was like, why are you waiting this long, bro? Like you rated Chris so highly, even in your game, because obviously he was doing bits with Lyon, you know, doing what he was doing with Brazil, but there was a lot of competition. You had Thiago Silva was like a baby during them times, but like Lucio, and then you had Juan as well. Like, yeah, man,
he should have got more time at the national team level. I agree with you on that.
100%,
but listen, guys, that's it for this one. This has been another good one in the books with these teams. I'm really enjoying this whole segment. I hope all you guys are as well. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Natster, appreciate it, my guy. You know how it is, man. Everybody, if you haven't, like and subscribe to Natster, like and subscribe to me, like the video too, please. I'm still learning how all this YouTube stuff works. So if you can go raid Taryn for BBK Sports.
Yeah, raid Taryn, bro.
Go to Taryn and just tell him Gianni raid. And yeah, till next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow for my Conte out raid, my Conte out rant that's gonna go down tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in for that as well. Yeah, 100%. Best believe that. We're here for it. We're here for it. It's always a pleasure, Gianni. Thanks for having me on your channel. First time as well. Man. On debut, as the Aussies say. Do you know what I'm saying? I say that on my channel as well. But like always a pleasure, never a chore. That's another thing I say. But yeah, like and subscribe to Gianni Calcio TV, bro. Did I say that correctly?
Gianni Talks Calcio TV.
Natster official as well. But if you type in Natster, I'll come up. You know, 100+ subs as well. Gianni's growing a bit quicker, but it's cool. This ain't a competition for me. We're building a community. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's growing rapido. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Raid Terran, Like and subscribe to both of us, and we are out. Adios, ciao, all of them ones, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you stopping by.